Global evolution. I transplanted the heart of the Supreme God. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76, Not Knowing Gold and Jade. Shock. This candidate actually broke the upper limit of the test paper. Breaking the sky. Super Black Horse beats the hero profession and gets record-breaking score. The college entrance examination is over, but the subsequent impact is like a tide. The Chinese media, big and small, heard the news and dug deep to report this year's college entrance examination champion one step ahead. According to experience, the first place in the spiritual world exploration subject has a probability of becoming the top scorer in the college entrance examination of more than 70%. The candidates who survived to the end in the same mirror space as Bai Pu all knew from the list that Bai Pu's spiritual world exploration subject score was 608 points, so the news of the first place was not a secret. Although Bai Pu used the code name Steelheart, in the mirror space number 1, there is only one candidate with a level below level 3, and there is no other semicolon. Therefore, Bai Pu's identity cannot be hidden, and of course he didn't intend to hide it. The powerful reporters went forward and carefully dug up Bai Pu's results. Wow, the first two subjects were full marks. Virtual combat is fine, there are 79 people in the country who got full marks. It's really terrifying to get full marks in cultural subjects. No wonder he could win the first place in the spiritual world exploration subject as a low-level awakener and a non-hero template. All media outlets were excited and invited Bai Pu to interview him. Interview location? Let's put it at Zichen number 17 middle school. Bai Pu rubbed his hands nonchalantly. After all, that's my alma mater. Good idea. Suzai Oxiao's eyes lit up. This can bring a lot of topic to the school. Maybe it can help the school avoid closure. The Jiangnan Education Department will not easily change the schools that it decides to close. Li Ling glanced at Bai Pu. You set the interview location at the school. You want to play the victim, right? This is not called playing the victim. Bai Pu said confidently, I am called poverty-stricken and unyielding, poor and strong, a good example worthy of learning for young people across the country. Beep, Li Ling's number received a message. She raised her wrist and glanced at Bai Pu, smiling and not smiling. You are very popular now. A practical official from the Jiangnan Education Department sent me a message in person, hoping that you can transfer your student status to a key high school in the region. Whether it is Jiangda Affiliated High School or Jiangnan number 1 High School, you can choose whatever you want. Hey, Zio Bai Pu has already finished a college entrance examination, why do you want to transfer your student status? Suzai Oxiao asked in confusion. Bai Pu smiled and shook his head. Sister Ling, you should know my attitude. Li Ling said with a sneered, those high-ranking key high schools are only panicking now? It's too late. Media people from all over the country were surprised and happy to see the dilapidated Zichen number 17 middle school. What surprised them was that the top scorer in the national college entrance examination, a peerless genius who broke the upper limit of the test paper, actually came from such a dilapidated school. What made them happy was that there was explosive news material to be dug up. Bai Pu continued to receive media. He did not exaggerate too much, but just told his experience along the way in an artistic way. He had congenital heart disease since childhood, and his brain was overloaded and his body was weak. Super Energy Group was looking for a clinical experiment subject, and the two signed a contract. Bai Pu survived a life and death struggle, merged the source blood, and passed the trial mission as an ordinary person who had never been trained. Of course, Bai Pu did not hide or exaggerate the two pursuits by the Stinger Squad, one into the spirit world and one into the border area. The reporters were like sharks that smelled blood, and they kept chasing the topic of Bai Pu being hunted. This undoubtedly added a lot of thrilling and bizarre plots to Bai Pu's growth experience. Although Super Energy Group is a major force in Jiangnan District, it can only influence the media in Jiangnan District. Reporters in other districts, especially Zhejiang District, don't care about this. They want to turn into detectives on the spot and confirm that it is a killer team sent by Super Energy Group. When the reporter asked why Bai Pu was studying in such a shabby school, Bai Pu smiled very pure. Those key schools don't want to accept me. Reason? It seems that they said I didn't graduate from junior high school. No. I am already very satisfied that I can go to school and get the qualification to participate in the college entrance examination. Does the refusal of those schools have anything to do with this superpower group? Well, I don't think so. They are just following the rules. Who told me to drop out of junior high school early because I have a heart disease? A handsome boy with jade-like temperament, peerless talent, and kind character. Most of the reporters who came to interview Bai Pu were female reporters. Seeing the satisfaction written on Bai Pu's face, they had a maternal impulse to protect him. They wanted to finalize the draft on the spot and criticize those key high schools that were blind. Some people with quick minds thought of the various inside stories hidden in this and planned to link all the key high schools in Jiangnan with the superpower group. Look at Zicheng No. 17 Middle School. Several practical officials of the Jiangnan District Education Department were angry and slammed the table and shouted. Even if Bai Pu doesn't have a junior high school diploma, he is an awakener. Isn't the panel of the spirit worlds well enough as proof? Which school treats a genius who awakens early as a treasure? Why is Bai Pu so cold? Selfishness and greed are at work. Originally, it was a great thing for Jiangnan District to have a champion in the college entrance examination, but now? The entire education system in Jiangnan District has to be humble. People say that we are blind and don't know gold and jade. Sitting opposite the table were several principals of key high schools, each of them looking at their noses and their hearts, sitting like elementary school students, bowing their heads to listen to the lecture, and enduring the spit of the practical officials flying everywhere. They also regretted it in their hearts. If they had known that Bai Pu could get the champion in the college entrance examination, they would have worshipped Bai Pu as their ancestor. At the beginning, they thought that Bai Pu was a newly promoted awakener, and one more or one less would not be much. It was not worth offending the superpower group for him. Now, these principals are regretting their decision. The top-ranked practical officer of the Jiangnan Education Department took a sip of water from his cup and said coldly, "Don't blame me for being harsh." Secretary Kiao and all the committee members were alarmed by such a big thing. The committee is very disappointed with the education system in the Jiangnan region. Another practical officer said, "The education system is facing a major change, and all of you will suffer. Zicheng No. 17 Middle School will be retained and will not be closed." The last practical officer sighed and added the last point. "Are you kidding? No. 17 Middle School has produced a national champion. From now on, the education funding of the entire Jiangnan education system will have to be tilted towards No. 17 Middle School. Who dares to close the alma mater of the national champion?" After the meeting, several principals smiled and went to the practical officers who were usually easier to talk to. "Director Zhao, could you please talk to Chairman Wu of the superpower group and ask him to come out and say something fair?" A principal asked in a low voice, and then said angrily, "Who knew that Bai Pu was so weird, but he could get the top spot? The superpower group is probably too busy to take care of itself." The practical officer's attitude was not as friendly as usual, and he said coldly, "Negative reports about the superpower group are overwhelming. The internet is now full of comments suspecting the shady dealings of the superpower group, but the propaganda department shows no signs of any control. Don't you understand yet?" Hiss. Bursts of gasps were heard. Someone murmured, "Things are going to change." I checked the subscriptions. The latest chapter released at 5 o'clock yesterday had over 570 subscriptions. I'll optimistically estimate that it will reach over 600 by 5 o'clock today. I'll give you an extra chapter for 600 subscriptions in advance. I beg you to subscribe. I beg you to subscribe. Don't support the book if you really want to support the book. I beg you to turn on automatic subscription. Thank you. PS. How to turn on automatic subscription. Find this book on the bookshelf of Kitty and Client. Global Evolution. I transplanted the Supreme God's heart. Click the 3 dots on the right. You can turn on update reminders and automatic subscription. Chapter 77. Such a fake smile. Mr. Wu Yunzhong, chairman of the Superstar Alliance, has withdrawn from the Jiangnan District Committee due to health reasons and will no longer serve as a member of the Jiangnan District Committee. Cheonan Group is suspected of tax evasion, and Chairman Wu Yunxin has been controlled and may be forced to pay 487 million Chinese yuan in taxes. Bai Pu browsed the news on the virtual light screen. He picked out several key news at a glance. It seems that the country does not want the Jebel forces to continue to be arrogant, so it has adopted a tacit attitude towards the media reports, and may even intentionally add fuel to the flames. Bai Pu pushed open the heavy bronze door under the base and stepped into the bone crypt copy. After winning the national champion, the high-level leaders of the Shen-set army had greatly increased their expectations for Bai Pu. It is said that they will negotiate and revise Bai Pu's contract in the near future to greatly increase Bai Pu's welfare benefits. Suzia Oxia also asked Bai Pu to be prepared, as a head of the Jiangnan district military will meet him soon. For Bai Pu, a real benefit is that he can now enter the bone crypt to hone his combat skills without spending high honor points. Of course, since he does not spend honor points to enter, he cannot get a virtual treasure chest by killing monsters. Bai Pu's goal is not the virtual treasure chest, but combat expertise. The battle in the Three Kingdoms, Red Cliff Plain scene gave him a deeper understanding of various expertise such as two-handed swordsmanship, shield mastery, and fighting, and now he needs to use it for himself. After fusing the gene fragments of the strong, Bai Pu can forcibly remember the enemy's strong moves and habits with his abnormal observation and memory, and use his low-level combat expertise to confront the enemy with high combat expertise. However, this is not a long-term solution. First, forced observation and memory consume a terrible amount of mental energy, and the enemy's shooting movements are not as fixed as those of machines. If you see through this and suddenly change your shooting habits, Bai Pu will inevitably suffer a great loss. Second, when encountering a battle, the enemy will not give Bai Pu the opportunity to observe the movements, and the victory or defeat will be decided within 1 or 2 rounds, and life and death will be decided. For example, the blood spider gave Bai Pu a great stimulation. If Bai Pu had not made arrangements in advance and used Ganning and other indigenous warriors to besiege, he would have been defeated by the blood spider. Before entering the spirit world next time, Bai Pu plans to practice his main combat expertise to level 3 or above, at least to keep up with his professional level. As for which plane world to go to next time, Bai Pu has already thought about it. He is now level 3, almost reaching the threshold of the intermediate awakener. The spiritual world treasures required for the second job transfer have already been targeted, that is, the Super Energy Group, or the core organization Superstar Alliance controlled several intersections. Bai Pu has asked Li Ling to search for information about these intersections. He plans to choose the spiritual world planes to which these intersections belong to make some preliminary preparations. I'm determined to get the living tissue of the origin heart, Bai Pu said to himself. Zicheng number 17 Middle School. The long-awaited summer vacation has finally arrived. Shi Yi and several classmates made an appointment to come to school to play. In the end, the fun didn't happen. The area around the school, about 100 acres, was fenced off. Groups of engineers wearing helmets could be seen walking around the campus, pointing at various plots of land in the school. "Uncle, what's going on? Isn't the school going to be closed in a few years?" Shi Yi asked the security guard. "It's not being closed, it's being expanded." The security guard's face was flushed with excitement. "Our school did well in the exams this year. I heard that a national champion was born. The education department has allocated funds to expand the school during the summer vacation, and many good teachers will be transferred to teach. In the future, our Zicheng number 17 middle school will also be able to get the brand of a key high school in the region, haha." The security guard's grandson also goes to Zicheng number 17 middle school, and he is just a sophomore this year. He himself has been a security guard here for many years. He is the happiest person to see the school turn around. The top scholar in the country. Shi Yi was surprised. "Is it Bai Pu? It seems to be this name." After hearing the confirmation of the old security guard, Shi Yi and the others looked at each other in silence, their eyes wide open as if they were wearing contact lenses. "I didn't expect that he would bring such a big change to the school." A girl's eyes were lost for a second, as if she was recalling the image of Bai Pu, but the impression in her mind was so faint, she only remembered the pair of eyes that were as bright as the morning stars, but never focused on anyone. "Shi Yi, is Bai Pu still in touch with you?" a boy asked. Shi Yi shook her head. A girl said, "Shi Yi doesn't like fighting. She was forced to join the combat class. She is going to apply for the dance major in the college entrance examination. She and Bai Pu must have nothing in common." Shi Yi lowered her head, feeling an inexplicable sadness. "I changed my mind. I want to apply for the combat major," Shi Yi said silently in her heart. "I don't know why. Maybe it's to get closer to the back figure that often appears in my dreams." Northeast region, Hebei City. Inside a villa. "My ranking is finally out, hiss. This ranking. The petite squid opened her personal information terminal and just checked her ranking. Before she could get excited, she received a call. It was her childhood sweetheart, Iron Crocodile. They hadn't been in touch since they had a quarrel over the spiritual world exploration subject and returned. What place did you get in the exam? Iron Crocodile's voice on the other end of the phone was a little low and hoarse. Tell me about yours first. Squid said. I didn't do well in the exam. My total score was 551, ranking 643rd in the country, bronze list. Iron Crocodile's voice was a little bitter. You have been following Steel Heart, so your score should not be low. Well, I got 689, ranking 10th in the country. Squid said. Gold list. Iron Crocodile was a little bit unbelievable. No, how come you are more than 130 points higher than me? 3 reasons. First, I participated in the event of killing the blood spider, and I received a reward equivalent to 15% of her score according to my contribution. Second, Steelheart sent me to Ganning's command, and I participated in the key plot of the burning of Red Cliffs, during which I gained a lot of reputation. Third, I also gained reputation and treasure chests in the subsequent pursuit of Cao's army, said the Inkfish. Originally, the Inkfish and the Iron Crocodile had a complementary relationship. The Iron Crocodile was responsible for output, and the Inkfish was responsible for delaying and controlling the enemy. After the Iron Crocodile left, the Inkfish's ability to kill independently was very weak. However, with the help of 2 Cao's deformed slaves controlled by Bai Pu, the output ability is only stronger than that of the Iron Crocodile. So the Inkfish gained a lot in the subsequent battles to chase the Cao army. How did he know that Ganning was the implementer of the false surrender plan? The Iron Crocodile knew that he had asked a stupid question as soon as he opened his mouth. He didn't wait for the Inkfish to answer, and hung up the phone on the pretext of a phone call. After the call ended, Moi looked at her 10th place in the country, but couldn't help thinking of Bai Pu's face in her mind. She clicked on a report about the new champion Bai Pu, which had a huge photo of Bai Pu. The boy had a clear and handsome face, a beautiful smile, and was very healing, perfectly meeting the expectations of the public. What a fake smile. Moi poked the page of the report and muttered, the illusory appearance in the Red Cliff scene is much better than the real appearance. She still didn't forget Bai Pu's cold attitude towards her, which was completely businesslike and mutually beneficial. But Moi's fingers continued to slide uncontrollably, browsing other reports about Bai Pu. An innate-like smile appeared on her face unconsciously. Chapter 78 Limit Breaker. The Unified Entrance Examination for Chinese colleges and universities in the year 806 Lingyan has officially ended. World event. The Chinese college entrance examination guarantees basic fairness. After confirmation, rewards will be issued to awaken people with excellent results. Your ranking is number 1. You have obtained the hidden title, Limit Breaker. Limit Breaker. All combat expertise and skill levels of you and your servants are increased by 1 level. You ignore the shackles of level and rules and can improve your combat expertise without limit. This title does not require equipment and is permanently passive. Bai Pu sat beside a pile of broken bones and watched the prompt message suddenly sent by the will of the spirit world. Limit Breaker. It is obvious that Bai Pu broke the score limit of 1,000 points in the college entrance examination awakening paper and got the hidden title. The first half of the title of Limit Breaker is easy to understand. All combat expertise and skill levels are increased by 1 level, which is of course an excellent reward. But the second half is a bit intriguing. What does ignoring the shackles of level and rules mean? The level of the awakener is very important. When facing a low-level awakener, a high-level awakener will get additional damage bonus based on the level difference, as well as damage reduction. On the other hand, the level also determines the upper limit of combat expertise. For example, Bai Pu is a level 3 awakener. No matter how hard he practices, his combat expertise can only reach 99% of level 3, and he can never pass the level 4 barrier. But now, with the hidden title ability of Limit Breaker, Bai Pu can have combat expertise beyond his own level. This is often the pattern of the strong natives of the spirit world. Generally speaking, the weak templates of the spirit world creatures have expertise lower than their own level. The standard templates have expertise equivalent to their own level. The elite and enhanced elite templates have expertise 1 level higher than the level. The leader template has expertise more than 2 levels higher than the level. Of course, there are counterexamples, such as Xiao Zhang, Although he is a leader template, his combat expertise is not high, probably because he is young and his martial arts are not proficient enough. This is also an important reason why Ba Wang, Quang Chen and others are confident in killing Xiao Zhang alone. The passive ability of this title, it has already been greatly improved, and its growth potential is even more amazing. Bai Pu made a judgment. He is no longer a combat rookie, but has been through many battles. He knows very well how important combat expertise is. It can be said that the four-dimensional attributes in combat expertise are the two legs that constitute the strength of an awakened person, and neither is indispensable. If an awakened person has a powerful attribute panel but does not have a matching combat expertise, it is easy to be beaten by a strong person of the same level. Bai Pu is quite satisfied with the ability of this title. He also noticed that Limit Breaker can not only ignore the shackles of level, but also ignore the shackles of rules. Although Bai Pu can guess the latter half of the meaning, he has no definite idea, so he put it aside for the time being. He can be sure of one thing, that ignoring the shackles of rules is definitely a very strong ability, and the later it is, the greater the effect. The prompts of the spirit worlds will continue to come. Congratulations on winning the top scorer in the Chinese college entrance examination in Lingyun 806. You have won a chance to draw the top scorer roulette. Do you want to draw now? Bai Pu chose yes. In front of him, a huge dark gold wheel quickly appeared, flashing a low-key and noble dark gold luster. Only the central pointer was purple. The dark gold wheel was evenly divided into 4 areas, each with a different pattern. Bai Pu checked them one by one. The first pattern was a human figure with arms bent upwards, showing biceps, representing personal attribute enhancement. If you draw it, it should be a reward of free attribute points. The second one was a pattern of weapons and armor, which naturally represented equipment. It was said that the highest level of equipment was dark gold. The third one was a pattern of scrolls and ink bottles, which represented props. The fourth one was a coin pattern, which represented psychic points. This should be the one that no one wanted to draw. Although the reward of psychic points was a large number of free attribute points, dark gold equipment and rare props could not be bought with psychic points. As long as it's not psychic points, it's fine. Bai Pu turned the purple pointer. The pointer whirred around, and after countless circles, it gradually slowed down. Bai Pu's heart was inevitably lifted up. At this time, he could not influence the pointer. Seeing the pointer passing through the prop area step by step and entering the psychic point area, his anxious mood was really indescribable. Fortunately, although the pointer was as slow as a turtle, it still tenaciously crawled through the psychic point area and entered the area of personal attribute enhancement. The personal attribute is very good. This is what Bai Pu wanted most. Because equipment will be full one day, but attribute points will not. Last year's top scholar Wang Zhen drew 20 points of free attributes, which Bai Pu felt was more precious than a piece of dark gold equipment. However, the pointer did not fulfill his wish. It slowly and resolutely entered the equipment area and finally stopped. In the equipment area, a dark golden light surged, mixed with white, green, blue, gold and other colored halos. Bai Pu felt bad in his heart. Could it be that he was given a blank piece of equipment? Think about it, it can't be so outrageous. In the end, the green light occupied the mainstream, and in the flashing green light, a piece of equipment floated in front of Bai Pu. You have obtained the set, Iron Waist of the Immortal King. Iron Waist Guard of the Immortal King, encapsulated, equipment quality, green, set, equipment requirements, basic strength 20 equipment slot, waist attributes, strength +2, stamina +5 additional skill 1, expansion, the wearer's storage space increases by an additional 10 cubic meters. Additional skill 2, quick arming, the wearer gains 2 quick equipment areas, allowing him to quickly switch weapons in battle. Spare weapons must be placed in advance. Durability 40/40 description, mountains are flattened, oceans are dried up, but I am the only one who is immortal. Set. Bai Pu narrowed his eyes. The set is a level independent of the white, blue, and gold equipment system, and is marked by a unique green color. Generally speaking, the attributes of a green set itself are not outstanding, and are equivalent to the level of a gold piece of equipment. But if the set components can be put together and the set special effects can be activated, it will be very terrifying. Bai Pu put this equipment away for the time being. He felt that the greatest value of this suit was still trading. With his current impoverished energy point account and empty storage space, He was unable to purchase other parts of the Immortal King suit. On the contrary, if he sold it to a strong second-generation player who was in urgent need of the Immortal King suit parts, he might be able to sell it at a very high premium, allowing him to develop faster and better in the early stages. The dark gold roulette did not disappear, and the reminder of the spirit world's will came again. You have drawn the green equipment, the Immortal King's Iron Waist Guard. The valuation of this equipment did not meet the expected reward standard of the champion roulette. The remaining valuation will be quantified and rewarded to you. You can choose to quantify it in the form of energy points or free attribute points. There was no need to ask. Bai Pu decisively chose the quantification method of free attribute points. Quantification completed. You have obtained 7 free attribute points. Please complete the addition within 1 minute, otherwise the free attribute points will disappear. Bai Pu originally wanted to keep the free attribute points and use them at a critical moment. With this 1-minute limit, he did not think much about it and directly added them to strength. His basic strength climbed to 19 points, and with the equipment bonus, it reached 29 points. It was 3 points higher than the main attribute endurance. It's not that Bai Pu doesn't value endurance, but the equipment requirement of 20 points of basic strength for this Immortal King's Iron Waist Guard reminded Bai Pu that high-quality equipment that will appear in the future will often have high basic strength requirements, so we must prepare for it. As for endurance, you can wear equipment with endurance attributes to make up for it. The dark gold roulette turned into a stream of particles like light smoke and dissipated. So this is how the champion roulette works. It will give the awakener a reward of the corresponding valuation. Even if you are extremely unlucky and draw blank equipment, you should be able to compensate the awakener in the form of valuation, and the final benefit is equivalent to the valuation of a dark gold equipment. Bai Pu stood up and continued to fight and hone in the 3rd floor of the Bone Cave. Chapter 79 Hammer and Scalpel. Shenset Army, Zichen Branch Base. Restaurant. Li Ling and Bai Pu sat opposite each other. Seeing Bai Pu's pale face due to mental fatigue, Li Ling couldn't help but say, "Are you working too hard? You should combine work and rest." Bai Pu smiled happily, "No. I have been in a wheelchair for long enough." Bai Pu cherishes his current situation of being able to run, jump and fight. Others may regard hard work as a daunting task, but Bai Pu enjoys this process immensely. In fact, if Li Ling hadn't called him this time, Bai Pu would still stay in the White Bone Crypt to practice hard. "Sister Ling, there is no need to say anything else. What's the important matter?" Bai Pu asked. "I told you before that the chief wants to see you." Li Ling said, "This chief is not simple. He is also a staunch supporter of our Shenzhen army organization." Bai Pu understood and nodded and said, Generally, when meeting such a high-level person, you have to prepare, and you may have prepared questions and answers in advance, and rehearse them countless times. The chief specifically said that there is no need to prepare in advance, it's today." Li Ling said with a smile, "Come with me after dinner." This chief is also an awakened strongman and doesn't care about red tape. In an office, Bai Pu met the chief. He found that the chief's aura was majestic, as heavy as a mountain, and it was obvious that his strength had reached a level that Bai Pu could not measure. "Hello, Bai Pu. My last name is Nai." Chief Nai looked very serious, but he smiled very gently when he saw Bai Pu, showing his appreciation. "Hello, Chief." Bai Pu greeted politely. "Have you received the top prize? What good things did you draw?" Chief Nai said with a smile, "Don't worry, I will keep it a secret for you." Bai Pu's heart moved, and he did not hesitate to set the Immortal King's Iron Waist Guard to exhibition status. "Oh, good luck. I actually drew a set of parts, and it's a very famous set." Chief Nai's obviously knowledgeable. "Chief, I want to sell this suit. Do you know any force that wants to buy it?" Bai Pu asked. Li Ling held her forehead with her hand. She didn't expect Bai Pu to be so bold. "Sell it." Chief Nai was a little surprised. "Are you willing to sell it? The chance of the suit parts dropping is very small. It's hard to find them. The Immortal King suit is very suitable for tank-type awakeners. It can be worn until the awakeners graduate." Perhaps because he was born as an awakener, Chief Nai's words were not official at all, but very popular. Bai Pu said his considerations, "I don't have the money to buy other parts, and I don't think I will have the good luck to get another one in a short time. In my hands, it is equivalent to gold in equipment." Chief Nai smiled and said, "You can take it and put it down." However, the forces that are willing to spend a lot of money to buy the Immortal King suit parts are generally those who already have other parts of the Immortal King. If it is replaced by a force that does not have this suit in stock, it may not be willing to pay a high price to collect it. Just like Bai Pu had no confidence in collecting other suit parts, other forces were not sure whether they could receive them in the future, so they were naturally unwilling to pay a premium. Which force is willing to pay a high price to buy it? Chief Nai's expression suddenly became a little strange. He hesitated for a moment and said, "You have heard of this force. It is the Superstar Alliance. They have obtained 3 sets of Immortal King's suits, one is a helmet, one is an upper armor. The other one is unclear." Superstar Alliance. Bai Pu was speechless. The Superstar Alliance was the core organization of the Super Energy Group. How could it be possible to pay a high price to buy Bai Pu's suit parts? Even Bai Pu was unwilling to sell the suit parts to the Superstar Alliance. The other party already had 3 pieces. If he got one more, it would be a 4-piece suit, which could activate a very powerful suit effect. Bai Pu didn't want to help the enemy. If he encountered an enemy wearing the 4-piece suit of the Immortal King when exploring the spirit world, and this enemy was made by himself, it would be too late to regret. I suggest you don't rush to sell it. I have experience in this kind of thing. You can't get a good price if you're in a hurry. Commander Nai had no intention of purchasing on behalf of the military. He waved his hand and said, "Bai Pu, if you are willing to join the army and become a professional soldier, you don't have to worry about energy points. Maybe you can take over my job in the future." Bai Pu knew it was a joke, and smiled bitterly and shook his head. Chief Nai said, "I know that strong people don't like to be bound. People who can make a name for themselves in the spiritual world have wild imaginations and the courage to break the rules. They are the freest type of people. Expecting them to become disciplined and uniformed soldiers is inherently incompatible." Li Ling interrupted and said to Bai Pu, "That's why the chief supports the Shenzhen army to absorb civilian awakeners to make up for the shortcomings of the military's insufficient heroic professions." Chief Nai sighed. "Even so, there are still very few heroic awakeners willing to serve national security. This leads to a problem. The crackdown on awakened crimes and foreign invasions is not strong enough." Bai Pu said, "This seems to be different from what I know. What he knows from what he has seen and heard is that awakened people generally behave themselves in reality. After all, giving up a leisurely and comfortable life and being wanted and living in constant fear is a normal person who knows what to choose. What you knew before was just a one-sided impression caused by propaganda." Li Ling said, "In fact, crimes committed by awakened people have always existed. After all, with sharp weapons in hand, the desire to kill will arise naturally. This also involves world reputation. Bad reputation and good reputation are actually both a kind of world reputation. Some awakened people who tend to act evilly do not mind using the blood of civilians to spread their notoriety and increase their world reputation." Bai Pu also took this into consideration. He mainly doubted the living space of evil awakened people. The official secret archer troops and musketeer troops should have an overwhelming advantage over a single awakened person. Where is the living space for evil awakened people? Bai Pu expressed his doubts. Li Ling said, "You are right, but you overlooked one point, that is the existence of the border area. You have only been to one junction in the Deadbone Mountains. This junction is closed periodically. Its main purpose is to allow awakened people to train. But there are also many junctions that remain open all year round and never close. Such junctions often become places for awakened people to trade resources. They belong to the gray area that the law cannot control. Only the controller of the junction has a say. If an awakened person commits a crime, he can get asylum by hiding in a junction of a major force. Whether he flees or changes his identity, he will have enough time to prepare and will not have to worry about official pursuit. The official awakened troops will definitely not be able to enter such a junction on a large scale. If the official awakened troops are like an indestructible sledgehammer, the evil awakened are like poisonous insects hiding under the stones. As long as the poisonous insects dare to crawl out from under the stones and are caught, they will be smashed into pulp by the sledgehammer." Chief Nai used a very vivid metaphor. However, many poisonous insects are very cunning. They hide in the cracks of the stones, leaving the official with nowhere to use their strength. They suddenly appear, bite you, and then quickly retreat into the corner, which is very disgusting. Bai Pu said, "If the sledgehammer is strong enough to smash the stones that shelter the poisonous insects, there will be fewer poisonous insects in the world." "Yes, But unfortunately there are many restraining forces. While smashing the stones, the sledgehammer will also be worn or even destroyed. Chief Nai sighed. Without the deterrence of the sledgehammer, the poisonous insects and beasts from the outside world will take advantage of the opportunity to enter. Bai Pu nodded slightly. Chief Nai looked at Bai Pu. So, in addition to the sledgehammer, we also need a flexible and sharp scalpel to eliminate those pests from the cracks and the stones. Chapter 83 Junctions. I am willing to be the scalpel. Bai Pu then said, but I am only a low-level awakener now. I am afraid I can't help. Low-level has its advantages. Chief Nai smiled and said, some low-level borders are the intersection of the low-level spiritual plane and reality, and they do not allow mid-level and high-level awakeners to enter. And those low-level awakeners who have fallen into evil will hide in the low-level borders, making it difficult for the official high-level awakeners to start. Bai Pu had a bottom line in his heart. If he was asked to deal with awakeners of the same low level, that is, level 1 to 3, then he really wouldn't be afraid of anyone. With the talent of the heart of evolution and an enhanced elite profession, Bai Pu is basically the ceiling of the combat power of low-level awakeners. This is when his equipment is incomplete and most of the equipment slots on his body are only standard equipment. If he was covered with the golden hero level equipment, he would really be invincible in the low-level plane. But then again, hero level equipment often has very high requirements for basic attributes, and Bai Pu may not be able to meet the requirements. For example, golden accessories such as scorpion tail lion sting do not have equipment requirements and cannot be used as a reference. The final result of this meeting with the boss was that Bai Pu joined the military special service team as a non-staff member. Bai Pu, who just joined, is a C-level special agent. Because he is a non-staff member, he does not have a fixed salary. Bai Pu's income comes from the rewards for killing awakened criminals. Killing awakened criminals rewards psychic points. The more brutal the criminals, the higher the reward. Bai Pu's contract in the Shen Set army was also re-signed. The original contract was signed with the S-level rookie with the highest potential among the rookies, but now it is a long-term contract. There are very few people who can sign a long-term contract in 2 months. Looking at the entire genius camp, the new contract is more generous and generous. The annual salary of 30,000 psychic points per year is enough to make other rookie members of the genius camp envious. Other conventional benefits, such as the allocation of commuter vehicles, full-time drivers, life assistants, etc., as well as free lessons from military skills instructors, need not be mentioned. Of course, among all the benefits, the most practical for Bai Pu is the free food and accommodation. In the past, this benefit was obtained by Suzuya Oxio by taking advantage of her position, and it always felt a bit like being a gigolo. Now it is considered a legitimate benefit for Bai Pu. Chief Nai is so easygoing. Bai Pu sighed leisurely as he watched Chief Nai's jeep leave. It depends on who you are talking to, Li Ling said without thinking. Huh? Nothing. Li Ling said calmly, by the way, your special agent identity has been added to your personal identity file, and you can check it through the identity card of the personal information terminal. The paper certificate will not be produced until tomorrow. What are the powers of the special agent? Bai Pu asked. For the military, the special service team is considered a special force among the awakened ones. Li Ling said, although you are a non-staff member, you are also half of their own. In the real world, you can call for support from the military awakened unit. This means that he has a backer, and he can be a little more at ease when he ventures into the wilderness area. There is another very important point. You can kill the awakened criminals you think may pose a threat. Isn't this a license to kill? Bai Pu's eyes widened slightly. The power of the special service team is so great? Li Ling emphasized, it is the awakened criminals, not civilians. Civilian crimes are handled by the Security Bureau, and you cannot exceed your authority. And even if you kill an awakened, you still need to submit a supplementary explanation of the situation afterwards and get the approval of the special service team leader. Bai Pu nodded to show that he understood. Li Ling looked at Bai Pu's pure eyes and said seriously, the power of the special service team is very large, so not everyone can join. The reason why we recruited you is not only because you have great potential, but also because you are kind and lawful. This is the conclusion we have drawn from our observations and screening over the past 2 months. So, when Chief Nai met me today, it was for personal observation. Bai Pu said. Li Ling nodded, you must always keep your principles in mind in the real world. If you abuse your power and cause trouble to one side, It will not only harm yourself in the end, but those of us who recommended you to the special service team, including Chief Nai, will bear the responsibility. Sister Ling, I think you should have confidence in your own vision. Bai Pu smiled and said nothing more. By the way, have you found out all the information about the intersection of the Superstar Alliance? With your current authority, you can definitely find more detailed information than me. Li Ling said, and still clicked on the personal information terminal, and threw a few pages of virtual light screen information to Bai Pu through the air. Bai Pu's personal watch automatically received these pages of information, and he flipped through them. The Super Energy Group currently controls 3 low-level intersections: Mechanical Wasteland, Demon Abyss, and Bubble Islands. Due to level restrictions, the living tissue of the origin heart is stored in one of these 3 intersections. The intersection is the intersection of the spirit plane and reality. In addition to belonging to reality, they also belong to the spirit plane. Among them, the Mechanical Wasteland belongs to a future sci-fi style plane world, silicon-based spark, control, world. The Demon Abyss belongs to a fantasy-style plane world, Heart Demon, Oath, world. The Bubble Islands belong to a magical-style plane world, Adventure King, Set Sail, world. While reading the information, Bai Pu also asked the intelligent assistant Xiao Bai to check more information about these 3 intersections based on his current authority. Not long after, Bai Pu finished the search. Sister Ling, please help me pay attention to whether there are any tickets to these 3 worlds on the market. Bai Pu said. The ticket to the spirit world is actually a popular term for anchors. If the awakened want to go to the spirit world, they must use tickets to open the spirit world transmission. There are 2 main ways to produce tickets to the spirit world. The first is that the awakened use the popularity roulette every 3 months to draw a lottery. Among them, there is a probability of about 25% to draw a ticket to the spirit world. In the early days of the psychic era, there were fewer awakened people, and everyone's world reputation was rising very quickly. Through the reputation roulette lottery, 1 ticket to the spirit world could be drawn every year. Under the mutual trade and circulation, it was barely enough, because some awakened people were content with the status quo and did not want to risk their lives in the spirit world, so they would sell tickets to motivated awakened people. But gradually, the tickets became less and less, because the number of awakened people increased, and only a few could get the world focuses on you treatment after all, and it was not realistic to draw through the reputation roulette lottery. Fortunately, about 100 years after the spiritual yuan, a major change occurred in the spirit world and reality. Just like the version update, the monsters in the wilderness area will also produce spirit world tickets. This is the second way to produce spirit world tickets. The wilderness area has a demon plant forest that covers the sky and the sun. There are spirit world creatures that invade the real world through the border, and there are all kinds of giant beasts that have mutated due to the infiltration of psychic particles, which contain infinite mysteries and treasures. The spirit world tickets in the wilderness area are mainly produced by those spirit world creatures that invade reality. Killing these invading spiritual beings may result in a ticket to the corresponding world. Of course, the value of the wilderness area is not just the ticket. Because the wilderness area belongs to the real world, the awakened can freely collect the essence of giant beasts and demon plants for the production of various secondary occupations. For example, Bai Pu's Taoist alchemist, or other secondary occupations such as blacksmiths and refiners, etc. Even the base materials of many skilled books are produced in the wilderness area. Many awakened teams often take root in the wilderness area to explore the mysteries in the intervals between exploring the spiritual world. Some people died silently, while others gained amazing wealth, but unfortunately the world can only see the scenery of the latter. Therefore, the live broadcast of the awakened going to the wilderness area to play wild often attracts a lot of attention. There is another important thing. During the time you were in seclusion in the virtual copy, the 8 famous schools have sent invitations through me. Which school do you plan to go to? Chapter 81. Wait, you said there is a reward? Li Ling's voice was full of envy. Her score was far from enough to enter the 8 famous schools, so she could only choose a military school. Now seeing the 8 famous schools fighting for Bai Pu, she felt as sour as if she had eaten a lemon. Sister Ling, I don't really want to go to college. Bai Pu explained the reason. I took the college entrance examination. In addition to the generous rewards of the college entrance examination as a world event, it was mainly because of the real threat of the super energy group. I needed to increase my world reputation. Now my reputation has reached B level. Although it is temporary, The identity of the top scorer in the college entrance examination is a talisman. Coupled with the identity of a member of the special service team, it can greatly increase the cost for the Superstar Alliance to attack me. But just in case, I will try my best to stay in Zicheng and stay in the Shinsen army. Bai Pu is very realistic. Going to college is a matter of course in the eyes of others, but in Bai Pu's eyes, as long as it is of no use to him, he can give up. There is no such thing as college sentiment. Staying in the Shinsen army and developing well under the wings of the organization is more practical than going to college. Going to college is a must. Li Ling had a headache. For awakeners who aspire to participate in professional leagues and title battles, the college championship during college is a starting point. Many major forces will watch the college championship, select outstanding seedlings, and sign them into their own teams. Most awakeners are below level 4 when they enter college, belonging to the level of low-level and mid-level awakeners. The implicit threshold of the professional league is level 7. That is, the level of high-level awakeners, and there is a huge gap between the two. As for the title battle, it is the stage for awakeners who have stepped into the top level, level 10. Generally speaking, geniuses who awaken early, such as Zhou Xianyao, the overlord of Zhejiang district, are level 4 heroes when they enter college. While in college, he will improve his personal strength while playing in the college championship. When he reaches level 6 or 7, he will choose a powerful team that has the hope of entering the Super League to join, and achieve results within a few years. It would be best if he won a Super League championship and became a famous Awakener star. I have signed a long-term contract. Just signed. Bai Pu felt that there was no need for him to participate in the college championship. Wait, I forgot to say that you can still learn knowledge in college. There are many knowledgeable professors in the university, who have mastered the knowledge of psychic civilization from the source plane. You are talking about the knowledge of secondary occupations. Bai Pu looked at his hidden secondary occupation, Taoist alchemist, shook his head and said, in the real world, there is probably no professor who can guide me. It is better to spend more time exploring the spirit world and learn from indigenous scholars. Do you think everyone is like you, with such a perverted ability to explore the spirit world? Li Ling complained, looking at Bai Pu's lack of interest, and said helplessly, so the psychic points and personal attribute points awarded by the college championship, you don't look down on them, right? Wait, you said there are rewards. Bai Pu became excited. Well, the prize pool of 100,000 psychic points is provided by the organizer of the college championship. As for personal attribute points, they are rewards after the will of the spirit world recognizes them. Li Ling said. Well, I think it is necessary to see how good college life is. Life is incomplete without going to college. Bai Pu said seriously, but for safety reasons, it's better to choose a local university in Zicheng. I don't want to waste time in university. Can I just participate in the college competition and skip classes? Li Ling stared blankly, not knowing what to say. Maybe not. How do you know if you don't try? After all, I am the top scorer in the college entrance examination and deserve this preferential treatment. Bai Pu waved his hand. Sister Ling, please help me identify the schools that have sent me invitation letters recently. Why me? Li Ling was helpless. She always felt that something was wrong. If this continued, she would become Bai Pu's personal consultant, which was a serious demotion. However, seeing Bai Pu walking towards the underground passage, intending to enter the White Bone Crypt dungeon again to hone his combat skills, she couldn't say no after all, but instead felt trusted. She was a little happy that Bai Pu could let down his guard against her. It was not easy. White Bone Crypt, 3rd floor. The tall black knight, the soul fire in his eyes slowly extinguished. The nightmare warhorse that kicked Bai Pu's sternum and broke it turned into bone residue early. Bai Pu sat cross-legged, holding a tattered ancient book in his hand. What on earth is this Xianlong fragments? Every move in it actually requires mental power to comprehend. Fortunately, I now have Kanze's headscarf to increase the speed of mental power recovery, otherwise I really don't know when I can comprehend it again. Bai Pu frowned and thought. This Xianlong fragment was the item opened from Xiao Zhang's treasure chest. After being converted by the will of the spirit world, it was worth 40 points of the college entrance examination score. Although 40 points is not much, it has exceeded the valuation of ordinary gold and equipment. Because of this, Bai Pu realized the preciousness of the Xianlong fragment and immediately put it into the storage space without letting Ba Wang and Quang Chan see it. At that time, The attention of other awakeners was attracted by the Fangbian Huoji, fake, drawn by Bai Wang. Few people should have noticed that Bai Pu had drawn this ancient scroll. Bai Pu couldn't help but think that since this book was exploded together with Lu Bu's Fangbian Huoji, is it related to Lu Bu's martial arts? Bai Pu has also checked the information these days. The Three Kingdoms plane is based on the romance of the Three Kingdoms as the basic framework, filled with many official historical materials, unofficial historical legends to expand and evolve into plane world. One of the legends records the origin of the martial arts inheritance of famous generals such as Lu Bu and Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun learned from Tong Yuan, and Lu Bu learned from Li Yan. Tong Yuan and Li Yan are brothers, and they learned from a hidden master named Yu Zhenzi. These are not the main points. The main point is that in this legend, what Lu Bu learned from his mentor Li Yan was a set of unique skills called Xianlong Halberd method. This seems to provide a little evidence for the speculation that Xianlong fragments also came from the relics of Wenhao. Bai Pu used his mental power to comprehend the fragments, but he never got the point. But after each comprehension, he occasionally had a strange feeling of divine help in battle, and played amazing tricks. Every time he played such a trick, his corresponding combat expertise would suddenly improve a little. Don't underestimate this little bit, it is almost equivalent to the proficiency of Bai Pu's thousands of shots. Bai Pu couldn't help but sigh, how could I think of that trick at that time? I want to find that feeling again, but I can't find it anywhere. Perhaps, this Xianlong fragment still needs the interpretation of the indigenous strongmen. Bai Pu put away the Xianlong fragments and stepped into the fourth floor. He wanted to use the monsters above level 4 to hone his combat expertise. While Bai Pu was training hard, his opponent was not idle either. Zhaijing District. In a training ground, Overlord held a golden halberd in his hand and stabbed 8 wooden boards on the wall continuously. The handle of Overlord's halberd was as thick as the bottom of a bowl, more than 10 feet long, and the halberd tip was shining with cold light and extremely sharp. Only a drop of thick ink was dipped on the tip of the halberd. Such a heavy and sharp halberd fell on the wooden board, but there was not even a trace of cracks, and only the sound of knocking could be heard. The golden light faded, and half of the wooden board hanging on the wall turned into 2 or 3 pieces and fell down. There was a little ink mark in the center of each of the remaining wooden boards, as if it was dotted with a brush. An old voice sounded, "You are not proficient in controlling your strength now. When you can dot 8 wooden boards without breaking, you will be qualified to control the Fangbian Huoji, fake, and open the clues of Lu Bu's inheritance in the Three Kingdoms plane." The speaker was a thin old man, wearing a long gown in ancient Chinese style and a square scarf on his head, just like a teacher walking out of an ancient scroll. The overlord was very respectful to him, and said with a wry smile, "It took me half a month of hard training to get to the point where I can put ink on 4 wooden boards without breaking them. Each subsequent upgrade will be more difficult than the previous 4. Since you are aiming to be the overlord of Chu, Xiangyu, you can't be afraid of hardship." The thin old man said. "That's right." The overlord regained his spirits. "If you can't even get the qualification to inherit Lu Bu, how can you talk about aiming to be the overlord of Chu? I benefited the most from this college entrance examination. Steel Heart and Crazy Zen are destined to be just stepping stones for me. The compensation and update are here as promised. Today I checked the subscription within 24 hours, and it has reached 660 plus, and it's almost 700. Thank you all for your support. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82. Is this kid crazy? Zhaijing District, Zhou's family, reception room. Several admissions teachers from various prestigious schools sat in a circle. They looked at each other. The various prestigious schools are in a competitive relationship with each other. Every year, they recruit top awakened students with only one goal, which is to win the college competition. As the only 2 overlords with a heroic profession among 100,000 candidates, they are naturally the top talents they are chasing. What's more, Overlord also won Lu Bu's Fangbian Huoji, fake. Combined with the deep family heritage of the Zhou family, the future is even more promising. Obviously, these teachers did not make an appointment to visit together. Instead, the Zhou family strongly agreed on this visit time, so that they gathered together, like an auction, and competed to bid. Not long after, Overlord appeared. There were traces of dust and beating on his burly body, and a layer of fine sweat beads on his forehead. Obviously, he had just come out of the training ground. Bai Pu coughed lightly and said, "Teachers, let's not waste time on small talk. The conditions you can offer are actually not attractive to me. I only have one requirement for choosing a school." As Bai Pu said, the psychic point scholarship that the school can provide is very attractive to ordinary students, but it is indeed dispensable for the Zhou family. The admissions teachers all pricked up their ears to listen to Bai Pu's conditions. "My requirement is a university that does not have gangs in." Bai Pu's eyes were sharp and he said in a deep voice, "The exam in the Three Kingdoms, Red Cliff Plain, was the first major failure in my life. What I can't accept is losing to an opponent who is weaker than me in all aspects. I think Gang Xin will also participate in the college competition. I want to defeat him under the attention of everyone and clear my name. So I can't accept being in the same university with him. Please understand, teachers." Bai Pu's exclusive condition seemed a bit excessive, but Bai Pu's attitude was sincere and he explained the reasons in a dignified manner, which made the teachers feel no bad feelings. The admissions teacher of Zhejiang University smiled and said, "Student Zhou Xianyao, you don't have to worry about this. The candidate named Bai Pu is very arrogant and has already rejected our invitation." The admissions teacher of Qianning University said immediately, "Yes, his reason is that Zhejiang is too far from home, and he wants to choose a local university in Zhejiang. He also asked not to go to school during the school period and can apply for graduation at any time. He is so arrogant. It's ridiculous. Does he really think he is the best in the world?" Another teacher said, "I remember that there is only one Zhejiang Polytechnic College in Zhejiang, right? It ranks 227th in the country and is about to be squeezed out of the university alliance. What kind of teammates will such a school have? I don't know if it can gather 5 elite professions." Not only that, he also asked not to go to school at all. Even if the results are out, as long as the media understands the situation, they will say that it is Bai Pu's own credit, and there is no honor for the school. Especially the one about applying for graduation at any time is even more excessive. Originally, the 3rd and 4th years of college are the time for the college competition to show results. He doesn't want to win glory for the school, but always wants to graduate early. What is the meaning of the school training him? Teachers from other prestigious schools echoed this. It was obvious that they had also received Bai Pu's reply. They had the same answer after repeated inquiries. In their opinion, Bai Pu was just too proud. He had won the first place in the college entrance examination and didn't know his last name. When the sky is crazy, it will rain. When people are crazy, there will be disasters. Let's see how long Bai Pu, who got the first place in the college entrance examination by chance, can be proud. This is the idea that the admissions teachers of major prestigious schools have not said out loud. Because there has never been a precedent of getting full marks in virtual combat at level 2, nor has there been a precedent of a level 2 awakener entering the same mirror space with a group of level 4 candidates, and there has been no precedent of the spirit world will taking the initiative to provide preferential treatment to a candidate. Therefore, the preferential treatment of Bai Pu by the spirit world will has been exaggerated by many people. Many people will always make up reasonable explanations in their minds when seeing unexpected results, even if they are excuses. Bai Pu, as a low-level awakener and not a hero career template, defeated the heroes and won the first place, which is an extremely unexpected result. East China Sea region, Wu family. In the quiet woods, the blood spider sat on the stone platform. The waterfall behind, the rapids in front, all the sounds, seemed to be non-existent. After a long time, she opened her eyes and slowly exhaled. "King Guyan, you have been meditating for an hour every day since the college entrance examination. This is a bit unlike you. Is it really stimulated?" A woman in home casual clothes said with a smile. "Aunt Mingayu." Wu Qingyan called out, "Don't listen to the nonsense of the people below." Wu Qingyan's aunt Wu Mingayu has a delicate face and looks very young. She has a broad mind, wide hips and plump buttocks, and the car type is quite fuel-consuming. It seems that Wu Qingyan's good figure is inherited from the family. In fact, it would be good for you to stop and be quiet. Wu Mingayu's voice was very light, but it carried a majesty that could not be ignored. It was the aura generated by the long-term overlap of strength and power. In the past, you were like a clock that was fully wound up, walking all the time, but ignoring the scenery on the side of the road. It is a good thing that you are willing to stop and think now. After a pause, Wu Mingyu continued, even if you don't stop, I will stop. Because you are facing the critical level of level 7. If you don't change your mindset and lose even this one opportunity, you will definitely regret it in the future. Speaking of this, I have to thank the young man named Gangson. When Wu Qingyan heard this name, her eyebrows furrowed, and she said angrily, and he killed me once, and you still want to thank him. Besides, he just took advantage of the preferential treatment and got the high-level famous affixes. When did my Qingyan become unable to afford to lose and start deceiving himself? Wu Mingyu shook her head, her face became a little stern. I picked out a few interview records of Gangson and read them carefully. Although he tried his best to exaggerate the influence of the famous affixes, he could only deceive those who didn't know the business. What you should really pay attention to is that he was able to create a highly effective medicine that the indigenous people were attracted to in such a short time. How strong is his understanding? And he was able to deduce the time of your attack and persuade Ganning, a lord-level indigenous warrior, to wait. What does this mean? Wu Qingyan bit her lip and said nothing. Although she was not convinced, she was not a fool. She could naturally think of the difficulty of these two things. I have thought about it. The boy named Gangson, his real name is Bai Pu, right? You see which university he chooses, and you should also fill in that university as your first choice. Wu Mingyu said without question, with Bai Pu's ability to explore the spiritual world, it may only take 2 years for him to surpass you in hard power. I let you and him in the same university so that you can learn from his advantages in the competition, because this is your biggest shortcoming. Wu Qingyan took a breath and nodded gently, I understand. Just at this time, a message came from Wu Mingyu's personal information terminal. I have found Bai Pu's college entrance examination application. Wu Mingyu said with a smile, let's see what school he chose. Wu Qingyan rarely saw her aunt, who was always graceful and majestic, so surprised. She leaned over to take a look, and was petrified at the same time. On the virtual screen, there was a screenshot. First application for the regular batch of the combat department. First application A, school code 072-30, Zichen Institute of Technology, Major. 07 Combat Department Experimental Class. In the screenshot, there was only this one application, and the other applications were all blank and unfilled. This child, is he crazy? Wu Mingyu's calm demeanor disappeared. Even if you don't choose any of the 8 famous schools, you should choose a key university in a large region, right? What kind of school is Zichen Institute of Technology? It's ranked outside the top 200 in the country. She turned to look at Wu Qingyan. Qingyan, that school is too bad, you shouldn't go with it. Wu Qingyan's eyes flashed with a hint of interest. And, this is what you said, you can't take it back. The 24-hour subscription has exceeded 700. At 12 noon today, I will add another chapter. Thank you all for your kindness. Chapter 83. Watching the fun. What's the reason for choosing Zichen Polytechnic? At the Zichen base of the Shen-Set army, facing the doubts of Li Ling, Su Xiaoxiao and others, Bai Pu said doubtfully, isn't it obvious? Zichen Polytechnic is in Zichen, this one is enough. Moreover, Zichen Polytechnic agreed to my request not to go to school, only to play games, and to apply for early graduation at any time, and also provided generous psychic point scholarships. Su Xiaoxiao collapsed. I'm talking about the 8 famous schools. Zhejiang University, Qianyu University. How many people dream of the highest institutions of learning? You actually gave up like this. Bai Pu smiled, I don't need the halo of these famous schools. Let's leave it to those who need it. Li Ling said helplessly, I can understand your idea. You want to stay in Zichen and grow under the protection of the organization. But if you want to play in competitions and get rewards, you should choose a university with stronger comprehensive strength. I remember that Zhonghe University agreed to your request, didn't it? Although this school is not one of the 8 famous schools, it is also a key university in the region and is very powerful. Bai Pu shook his head and said, no, there is another reason why I stayed in Zichen. What reason? Li Ling asked. Do you still remember the metaphor of the stone and the scalpel? Bai Pu asked back. Li Ling suddenly realized. She understood instantly that Bai Pu stayed in Zichen, to be precise, in Jiangnan district, to deal with the Superstar Alliance. Because the main forces of the Superstar Alliance are concentrated in Jiangnan district. As a non-staff member of the Special Service Group, once the Jiangnan district has the task of clearing low-level awakened criminals, It will most likely fall on Bai Pu, in whose border will the low-level awakened criminals in Jiangnan district hide. Most of them are related to the Superstar Alliance. You really are not afraid at all. Li Ling sighed. Why should I be afraid? I should be afraid of them. Bai Pu is righteous. He is now backed by the Chinese official. How powerful is the real force? So he is fearless. Suzai Oxio was puzzled. What are you talking about? Bai Pu glanced at Suzai Oxio, smiled and changed the subject. Sister Ling, let's not talk about anything else. Is there any news about the anchor I asked you to find? Li Ling said, the tickets for the 3 planes you are looking for are for sale except for the world of silicon-based spark control. The tickets for the other 2 worlds are for sale. The tickets for the world of inner demon, oath, are D-level, and the tickets for the world of adventure king, set sail, are C-level. In the spiritual plane that borders the real world, the ticket output is generally more and more stable. Because some spiritual creatures will break into the real world through the border, it is possible to get a ticket after killing them. The world of inner demon, oath, and the world of adventure king, set sail. Bai Pu didn't think too much, and said directly, Sister Ling, buy both tickets. Although Bai Pu's hidden secondary occupation, Taoist alchemist's job change led to the consumption of most of his accumulated energy points, but after he signed a formal long-term contract with the Shen-set army, he received a salary of 30,000 energy points every year. Moreover, Bai Pu also worked part-time. He was a non-staff member of the official special service group. He could get bounties of energy points or other psychic items by capturing and killing awakened criminals. The price of tickets to the spirit world is not cheap, especially since there is a C-level ticket among these 2 tickets, which can provide a +1 level affix. Even if I negotiate on behalf of the organization, you will have to spend 20,000 energy points to buy these 2 tickets, which is equivalent to your current salary for more than half a year. Li Ling said. It's okay. I'll borrow money from the Shen-set army first, and I'll pay off the debt slowly with my salary. Bai Pu was not panicked at all. Suzai Oxio had not yet realized Bai Pu's intention to buy tickets to the Heart Demon world and the Adventure King world, and said curiously, Little Bai Pu, don't worry, you can buy them one by one. Even if you buy 2 at a time, you can only use 1, right? Bai Pu smiled and shook his head. Li Ling understood Bai Pu's intention and pulled Suzai Oxio. Okay, you don't understand. Bai Pu's purchase of tickets certainly could not escape the spying of the Superstar Alliance. The Superstar Alliance has always regarded the Heart Demon world and the Adventure King world as forbidden delicacies. Now that Bai Pu is going to enter these 2 worlds to explore, it goes without saying that it will be a fierce confrontation. The Superstar Alliance will also send a team of awakeners to try to get rid of Bai Pu in the spirit world. The manpower that the Superstar Alliance can mobilize this time is definitely not just a stinger team like last time. Although he is entering a low-level plane, Bai Pu is not afraid of any low-level awakeners, but he is certainly happy to weaken the enemy at the source. If he buys 2 tickets, the Superstar Alliance will not be able to accurately guess which world Bai Pu is going to. Normally, the Superstar Alliance must arrange personnel in both worlds at the same time. The ambush force that this large force can prepare is bound to be divided. And Bai Pu has a deeper idea. He wants to use this to test where the Superstar Alliance has stored the living tissue of the original heart. Evolutionary blood is a mysterious substance with evolutionary instincts, and it is an extremely rare spiritual world wonder. The living tissue of the origin heart, judging from the name, must have stronger activity and cannot be stored and kept casually. The Superstar Alliance stored it in the border instead of in reality. It is very likely that the real world does not have the environment to store the origin heart tissue. In this way, the storage location of the origin heart tissue cannot be changed at will. At least changing the storage location is a very troublesome thing. The matter of the Shen-set army purchasing tickets must not be hidden from the intelligence network of the Superstar Alliance. The Superstar Alliance will definitely think that Bai Pu did not go to other worlds, but went to several planes that they regarded as forbidden. What is his intention? I am afraid he wants to seize the origin heart tissue. Bai Pu bought all the tickets to the spirit world belonging to the 2 borders. The Superstar Alliance must take security measures and strengthen its vigilance. But don't forget that the Shen-set army itself has a military background, and Bai Pu is a member of the special service team. The intelligence network is much stronger than that of the Superstar Alliance. Bai Pu can use the Superstar Alliance's security forces to analyze and determine the intersection where the original heart organization is hidden. It doesn't matter if Bai Pu buys 2 tickets to the spirit world. Just treat it as an advanced consumption, and the other ticket can be used later. 100 years before the psychic era, the validity period of the tickets to the spirit world, that is, the shelf life, was quite short as 7 days, as long as 30 days, and it would be completely invalid. However, after experiencing the great changes in the 100 years of the spirit yuan, the validity period of the tickets to the spirit world has been greatly extended. Now, the shelf life of a newly obtained ticket to the spirit world has increased tenfold. The shelf life of low-level tickets is about 2 months, and the shelf life of high-level tickets is even longer, close to 1 year. This has created good conditions for the circulation of tickets to the spirit world. Of course, the increased circulation of tickets to the spirit world means that the number of awakened people who are arranged in the same spirit world plane at the same time has increased significantly. The will of the spirit world seems to follow the rule of watching the excitement is not too big a deal, encouraging awakened people to fight each other. The specific approach is, first, when teleporting to the spirit world will teleport in batches, arranging the awakeners of the same batch to the same area, and the main tasks released are also related to each other, tit for tat. For example, when Bai Pu was performing the trial mission, he was in the same batch as the Stinger Squad, and they were all arranged by the spirit world will to the European Baltic Sea region, the northern territory of Brandon. What's more outrageous is that although the Stinger Squad entered later, the foothold they entered was outside the studding town within 10 kilometers from Bai Pu. Therefore, the fights between awakeners are very frequent and common. By the way, your welfare, the forced separation item, should be used when it is needed, don't save it. Li Ling reminded, the C+ level item, Stowaway's Token, can only work on low-level awakeners. You are now level 3, and it may not take long before you will step into level 4, which is the level of intermediate awakeners. You won't be able to use it later if you save it. Bai Pu nodded to show that he knew. In fact, Bai Pu doesn't like the forced separation item very much. Since he has it and others also have it, it is not convenient for Bai Pu to use the main quest punishment of the spirit world, will exile to cheat others. With Bai Pu's ability to explore the spirit world, if everyone does not force the props to leave, Bai Pu's advantage will be greater. In the following time, Bai Pu continued to practice his combat expertise and skills on the 4th floor of the virtual copy bone crypt. Finally, Bai Pu practiced his combat expertise and the combat skill of jump slash to level 3. The additional update for subscribing 700 is here. The new world is about to open, and I beg everyone to continue subscribing. Chapter 84 Target, Original Heart Tissue. Fighting expertise is the fastest and easiest to improve, because punching and kicking, dodging, etc. are all considered part of fighting. Bai Pu's fighting expertise was close to level 3 as early as the Three Kingdoms, Red Cliff scene, and this hard training was the first to break through. Later, when Bai Pu cultivated other expertise and skill proficiency, the proficiency of fighting expertise also gradually improved. By the time he came out of seclusion, his proficiency had risen to more than 30% of level 3. Level 3 to level 4 is a big leap, and the required proficiency has increased sharply. If it weren't for Bai Pu's accidental enlightenment of the Qianlong fragment, he probably wouldn't have practiced to 30% of the proficiency. As for combat skills, only jumping slash was upgraded to level 3. It's not that he likes jumping slash the most, but the other 2 2-star skills require too high a proficiency to upgrade, which is twice that of jumping slash. And the blood and fighting spirit consumed are higher than jumping slash. The difficulty of practicing the combination of the two is more than twice. When leap slash is at level 3, the proficiency of unstable shield and spin throw is only about 40% of that of level 2. When the advanced combat reaches level 3, Bai Pu receives a wave of reminders from the spirit world. Your combat expertise has been upgraded to advanced level 3. Your title ability, Limit Breaker takes effect. Combat expertise level +1, automatically upgraded to level 4. You have obtained the following special effects. Please complete the selection within 1 minute. If you fail to do so, a special effect will be randomly selected. A. Jab. Increase the speed of your fist and foot light attacks by 10. Equivalent to the change in attack speed brought by 10 points of extra agility. The same below. B. Charge. Increase the impact damage of your elbows, shoulders, knees, etc. by 10. C. Lightness. Increase your movement speed by 5. D. Power. When engaging in a power confrontation, the strength judgment is plus 10. E. Agility. Increase your dodge value by 10. F. Raging Fist. Increase your critical hit value by 5. Bai Pu thought about it and chose D. Power. Of course, C. Lightness and F. Raging Fist are also good, but they only add 5 points of movement speed or 5 points of critical hit value, which is naturally not as good as 10 points of strength judgment value. Bai Pu already has the passive of Heavy Armor Mastery, and now he has an additional 10 points of strength judgment, which means that when he faces those strong people with high strength values, it is more difficult for him to be repelled or knocked away by the opponent. This 10 points of strength bonus can not only be used for defense, but also for offensive effects. Bai Pu's current strength value is 29 points. With the 10 points of bonus, the attack will have a strong impact equivalent to 39 points of strength. What is this concept? The strength attribute of a level 3 strength leader generally does not exceed 40 points. After Bai Pu chose the power effect, a feeling of enlightenment emerged. He has a deeper understanding of the force action, how to launch a powerful attack at a better angle, or how to unload the force when suffering a powerful attack, and has a new experience. In terms of subsequent combat skills, Jump Slash, as a 1-star skill, has a rather lackluster special effect after it was upgraded to level 4 because of Limit Breaker. There are several special effect options, some of which increase the additional damage of Jump Slash, but the increase is very small, only 10%. As a 1-star skill, Jump Slash's damage is not high. Some increase the jump height. The original maximum jump height is 3 meters, and after the enhancement, it can jump about 4 meters. In the end, Bai Pu chose an enhancement effect that increases the maximum distance of Jump Slash by 50% from several options. The original jump distance was 10 meters, and now it has been increased to 15 meters, which is considered a certain improvement. The expected goal of hard training has been achieved, and it is time to enter the spirit world. Bai Pu went back to his room and took a long nap. After replenishing his energy, he placed 2 tickets to the spirit world, the anchors of the Heart Demon world and the Adventure King world in front of him. The anchor of the Heart Demon world is very special. It is a worn-out scabbard. It looked very ordinary, but when Bai Pu's fingers brushed over the scabbard, he could feel a buzzing vibration. A cold knife light seemed to appear in front of his eyes, and the roar of the wounded demon rang in his ears. The anchor of the Adventure King set sail world is a wooden rudder, covered with green algae, moist as a hole, with water droplets rolling gently on the surface, as if it had just been salvaged from the deep sea. Touching it with your hand, you can vaguely feel the rumbling sound of the sea tide. Beep. Bai Pu's personal information terminal received a message. Li Ling, it has been confirmed that the Superstar Alliance has recently mobilized a large number of low-level awakeners to enter the Heart Demon world and the Adventure King world with you. Among them, the number of people in the Heart Demon world is relatively small, and the number of people in the Adventure King world is large. It is not difficult to enter with Bai Pu in the same batch. Many awakeners have remote peeping abilities such as divination. Even if Bai Pu hides in a place where no one knows, others can peek to see if he is still in the real world. If there is no Bai Pu in the real world, then he must have gone to the spirit world. Of course, it is not so easy to peek into a specific spiritual plane. Bai Pu, what is the situation at the 2 related border areas, the Demon Abyss and the Bubble Islands? Li Ling, the Bubble Islands are on high alert, and every awakener who applies to enter is strictly screened. There is no movement in the Demon Abyss. Bai Pu, I see. Bai Pu did not say which spiritual plane he planned to go to, and Li Ling did not ask. The two seem to have a tacit understanding. Bai Pu is naturally cautious and will not turn his back to anyone. Li Ling noticed Bai Pu's vigilance against the outside world, and carefully maintained a distance from Bai Pu, not daring to ask. Bai Pu put away the anchor of the world of Adventure King, set sail, that is, the section of the rudder, and reached out to hold up the worn scabbard. The Superstar Alliance has transferred most of its personnel to the world of the Adventure King, and has strictly closed off the related border Bubble Islands. Such a high-profile move is afraid that I don't know the importance of the Adventure King world. It's simply beating drums to tell me that the Origin Heart organization is hidden in the Bubble Islands. In fact, It's not. Such a deliberate act makes me more than 80% sure that the origin heart organization is hidden in the demon abyss, which is the border of the heart demon world. Bai Pu silently calculated that there are few people going to the heart demon world, but most of them are elites among the low-level awakeners of the Superstar Alliance. And there is no movement at the border of the demon abyss. It must be a situation of loose outside and tight inside. However, Bai Pu went for the origin heart organization. He wants to take the initiative to enter the plane world of heart demon and find the way to sneak into the border demon abyss. Spirit world will prompt information. Do you use the D-level anchor, the worn-out scabbard, to enter the plane world of the heart demon The anchor will expire after 72 days. Yes. With Bai Pu's confirmation, the worn scabbard shone brightly, and the white light instantly engulfed Bai Pu's body. A feeling of weightlessness came, and the will of the spirit world prompted a message: you are about to enter the plane world of the inner demon, the waiting in line, please wait. Unlike the first world, blood plague, origin, Bai Pu had to wait in line this time. This is because his strength has been judged as strong by the will of the spirit world, at least among the awakened people match this time, he is relatively strong. So Bai Pu needs to wait. Among this batch, the weaker awakened people, such as the awakened people of level 1 and level 2, will enter first. After the awakened people of this batch enter, other awakened people cannot enter again. If they want to enter, they have to rematch and wait for the next batch. Generally speaking, they will not meet the awakened people of this batch. This is a good thing for Bai Pu. He only needs to deal with the awakened people matched in this batch, and he does not have to worry about the reinforcements of the hostile awakened people of the Superstar Alliance in the future. The speed of time here is different from that of the spirit world. Waiting for a few seconds here may take several days in the plane world of inner demon The will of the spirit world uses the difference in the speed of time to separate the different batches of awakeners. Soon, the white light gradually dissipated, and the familiar sense of gravity came, and Bai Pu's feet stepped on the solid ground. Chapter 85 Eat the Heart? Welcome to the plane world of Heart Devil, Do you want to spend 180 psychic points to temporarily acquire the common language of this plane and adjust your appearance and clothing? Bai Pu chose yes. The first time he entered the world of blood plague, origin, it was a trial mission, and the second time he entered the plane scene of Three Kingdoms, Red Cliff, it was a college entrance examination subject. The will of the spirit world automatically helped him acquire the language and adjust his appearance and clothing for free. This trip to the plane of Heart Devil, was Bai Pu's first time using a ticket, anchor, to venture into the spirit world, so there was no free good thing. After a burst of invisible ripples, Bai Pu's mind temporarily gained a language, and his appearance and clothing also changed significantly. Needless to say, his appearance is another style of handsomeness without affecting the hidden attribute, charm, just like Bai Gu and Yanzu in the AD era. Bai Pu focused on observing his transformed clothing. It was a coarse linen shirt with a slanted collar, a hemp rope tied around the waist, and a pair of straw sandals on his feet. It looked a bit like the ancient civilian clothing of the mixed style of China and Japan, which matched the civilian identity corresponding to Bai Pu's ticket. The information of the will of the spirit world slowly spread out, providing Bai Pu with simple information about this world. Heart Demon, time, Yongzheng period, region, Heart Demon continent Zhuangwu Mountain, intensity 1.8, background. This is a world where humans and demons coexist. Warriors draw the power of demons as weapons, lose themselves in killing, and terrible demons appear. The war between humans and demons begins, and the oath of exorcism is passed down from generation to generation. Bai Pu's foothold is a slightly dim jungle. Bai Pu's first impression of the heart demon world is dull. The sky has lead gray clouds, as if it is always filled with cold fog. Occasionally, the sun can be seen, but the color of the sun is pale, and mortal eyes can look directly at it for a long time. In Bai Pu's palm, the shabby scabbard floated up, turned into tiny points of light, and merged into Bai Pu's body. The level of the anchor you are using is D level. Your entry level is civilian. The initial time you can stay freely in this world is 3 days. Please try to trigger and complete the main quest within 3 days. Failure to trigger the main quest within the deadline will result in your exile. The word exile is in blood red font. Just like the punishment for failing the main quest, it is exile to the turbulent space. Within 3 days, Trigger the main quest of the first stage. This is not too difficult. After all, the main quest of the first stage is easy to trigger. Basically, you just need to join a main camp in this world and complete the tasks given by the camp's high-level officials. The main camp refers to the Cao Army, Liu Bei Army and Sun Quan Army in the Red Cliff scene. This kind of big forces plays a decisive role in the development of the plot. Small forces like the Wu Jinlu family and even the Four Rivers Gang will only trigger side quests and do not count. According to the information, in the world of Heart Demon, Oath, there are two major camps, the Oath camp that is biased towards justice and protects mankind, and the completely evil Demon camp. It is extremely difficult to join the Demon camp. Because in the background of the world, demons are bloodthirsty spirits that only know how to kill, and their desire for human flesh and blood is deep in their bones, and their number is huge. Demons are demons that occupy human bodies and devour human souls. Because they have devoured human souls, demons have wisdom, but they have inherited the desire of demons for human flesh and blood, and they can only kill. In this case, unless the Awakener's initial entry identity is a demon, this of course requires a high-level ticket affix. It is very difficult to join the demon camp with a human body. The demon camp has a great advantage in this world, because most of the strong men in the Guardian camp use the power of demons to fight, and in the process of killing, they will be subtly influenced by the power of demons. Once the mind is lost, the strong men in the Guardian camp will fall to the demon side and become demons. Every time a strong man falls into a demon, the damage to the Guardian camp is far greater than losing a strong man. So joining the demon camp is good for the general trend of this world. Generally speaking, the awakened who join the demon camp have some dark personality, can slaughter their own kind without changing their expression, and even enjoy killing. Bai Pu is relatively calm and rational. If necessary, he does not reject joining the demon camp, but he will not rack his brains to squeeze in. What about the world situation? The awakened do not have to join the strong camp. The victory of the camp does not mean the victory of the awakened. In Bai Pu's view, the Guardian camp can also get a lot of good things. According to intelligence, the Guardian camp has 4 inheritance families, guarding the 4 corners of the Heart Demon continent. Each inheritance family has been passed down for hundreds of years, with a legendary beast as the totem, and has a deep foundation. The inheritance family guard in the northern Xuanwu mountain plain is the Beaming family, which takes the mythical beast Xuanwu as the totem. If you can get a high-level reputation in the Beaming family, there will definitely be many benefits. Bai Pu took a step forward, and his feet felt slightly soft. Between the gloomy trees, there was a thick layer of humus. It was a layer of lichen formed by the accumulation and decay of fallen leaves and animal remains that no one cared for, providing a continuous supply of nutrients to this gloomy forest. Suddenly, Bai Pu paused. The bark of a large tree next to him was torn in half, revealing the yellow-white wood tissue, and on the surface of the wood tissue, there was a black-red dot-shaped mark. If it were an ordinary person, he might not notice this slight abnormality, but Bai Pu's observation ability was as strong as that of a high-definition camera. With his powerful information analysis ability, he could see everything in his eyes. He walked over, gently twisted the trunk, and quickly made a judgment. This black-red mark should be dried blood. Judging from the long strip of dot distribution, it should be blood splashed on it, at least a day ago. Bai Pu narrowed his eyes, and when he looked up again, he had already chosen a direction and strode over. A layer of light blue ripples that only Bai Pu could see spread out and extended to 10 meters around. This is the mental scanning ability that Bai Pu has activated after he possessed the Identity Jade card of Wu Jinlu family, and his mental attributes met the standard. At the end of the road, Bai Pu saw a corpse. A headless corpse. Bai Pu's face was calm, and there was no ripple in his heart. He squatted down and checked the condition of the corpse. The headless corpse was dressed very beautifully, with a turtle body and snake tail pattern embroidered on the back, and a dark green jade ring on the finger. He looked like a very prestigious aboriginal figure. The cross-section of the neck was smooth and neat, as if it had been beheaded by some extremely sharp weapon. When Bai Pu touched the corpse, the will of the spirit world suddenly sent a message: you have encountered an opportunity to choose a camp. A. Take the headless corpse to one of the main cities of the Guardian camp. B. Eat the heart of the headless corpse. Choose countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7. As soon as the countdown appeared, Bai Pu was ready for battle and directly drew out the sharp long knife. He did not choose to eat the heart of the headless corpse, This is obviously a prerequisite for joining the demon camp. So how to join the demon camp after eating the heart? It is very likely that there are demons nearby. The lurking demons, seeing Bai Pu's anti-human behavior of eating the heart, will interact with Bai Pu out of curiosity, recognition and other emotions, giving Bai Pu a real test to join the demon camp. On the other hand, if Bai Pu chose to bring the headless corpse back to the main city, that is, to choose to join the guardian camp, then how will the demons lurking in the dark react? These thoughts turned several times in Bai Pu's brain in just a moment. So Bai Pu prepared for the battle at the first time. Swish! A very thin sound sounded, like the sound of a bow and crossbow. Bai Pu suddenly rolled to avoid it. A big tree behind him was pierced with a small hole. It is conceivable that if Bai Pu did not evade in advance, his body would be the same as the big tree. The demon has arrived. Chapter 86. You stab me with 10 claws, and I will cut you with 1 knife. Bai Pu detected with his mental power and found that the thing that shot through the tree was actually a thin, spider silk. The spider silk was extremely elastic and tightened quickly. Just like Spider-Man in the AD movie, a black shadow was pulled over swiftly and squatted between the branches of the tree with a snap. The upper body was a beautiful and evil female body without a single inch of clothing. The lower body was a fat spider sack and sharp spider claws. It was like a beautiful woman and a big spider were forcibly spliced together, full of horror and evil feelings. Bai Pu immediately activated the skill of Kanzai's headscarf. 9 chapters. 9 chapters. Detect the target through mathematical calculations. The higher the mental power of the wearer, the more accurate the detection results. On the surface of the demon, there were obscure counting chips and seal characters flashing, and a translucent data frame quickly unfolded in front of Bai Pu's eyes. Demon Spider Woman, Elite Level 3, Race, Demon Half-Demon, Attributes, Strength 14, Agility 33, Stamina 18, Spirit 10, Skills 1-3, Demonized Spider Silk. Bai Pu was very grateful to Overlord. The detection ability of 9 chapters was very good, and the biggest advantage was that there was no cooldown limit. However, Bai Pu also felt a slight throbbing in his temples, and his mental power was instantly consumed by 3 points. It was probably because 9 chapters relied on the so-called numerology calculation to detect, and the mental power required for numerology calculation naturally had to be provided by Bai Pu, the wearer. Fortunately, another skill attached to the headscarf, Cut Circle, could restore an additional 1 point of mental power per minute, otherwise Bai Pu would not be able to bear this consumption. At this moment, the demon spider woman had already launched an attack. She raised her head and opened her mouth, and a sharp spider silk had already shot over, and the thin air force could be vaguely seen cutting through the ripples in the air. Bai Pu just slightly buckled his shoulder and took the spit with his shoulder. His agility was far inferior to that of the demon spider woman, and it was almost impossible for him to dodge completely. However, at the moment of taking the spit, Bai Pu had already activated Herculean Skin. The spider silk spit by the demon spider woman did not penetrate Bai Pu's shoulder, but pierced directly into the bone, causing 25 points of sharp damage. But the spider silk was still sticky and adhered tightly to Bai Pu's shoulder. Then the spider silk contracted. Bai Pu felt a strong suction coming. The demon spider woman was actually trying to drag him over. Looking at the vicious mouth parts opened in her abdomen, I'm afraid she was ready to eat him as a buffet. But the demon spider woman made 2 mistakes. First, Bai Pu's strength value was as high as 29 points. Counting the bonus of strong, the strength judgment was as high as 39 points, far exceeding the demon spider woman's own 14 points of strength. Second, Bai Pu has the characteristic passive skill of the tank profession, Heavy Armor Mastery. It has a strong resistance to effects that destroy the body's balance, such as knockback and repulsion. So the result was not that Bai Pu was sucked over. It was the spider woman herself who was dragged over. Bai Pu, who took a demonized spider silk head-on, remained calm, swung his long sword with both hands, and chopped it down with a bright light. The spider woman bit off the spider silk and barely stopped, with the blade only a few inches away from her forehead. However, before the spider woman could breathe a sigh of relief, she saw the long sword in Bai Pu's hand burst into 3 slightly smaller bright lights. Weapon attached skill, Fierce Wind activated. Cut 3 times in a flash. Blood was boiling. Bai Pu's strength at this time was no less than that of the power elites of the same level. Cutting on the Spider-Woman's body was like a giant axe or halberd. The first sword broke through the defense, the second sword cut into the body, and the third sword directly chopped off a section of the Spider-Woman's spider leg. Bai Pu felt the power of the 3 consecutive sword cuts of Fierce Wind when he killed the mother of Jiang Tuo, because they were cut at the same time, and there was a high probability that they would be cut at the same position. Although the damage of a single sword is only 60% of the full damage, the 3 swords are obviously accumulated together and calculated as a single damage. A single high damage has a high probability of causing disability. The demon Spider-Woman screamed in pain, and raised the other spider leg high, stabbing continuously like a spear, even leaving a series of phantoms in the air. This is a skill that has not been explored, Phantom Claw. Bai Pu's response is, take it hard. Duado. The spider legs created shallow pits on Bai Pu's chest. The phantom claws burst out multiple damages at the same time. The damage of each hit is obviously not comparable to the ordinary stab of the spider legs. After this damage is greatly reduced by keratin skin, it is also reduced by the natural armor brought by Bai Pu's 26 points of endurance and the additional armor of the standard armor. In the end, the damage of each hit is only 2 or 3 points. The demon Spider-Woman's abdomen, which was originally protected by 2 spider legs, is now wide open. Bai Pu seized this opportunity and pierced through with both hands holding the knife. The tip of the knife stabbed into the vicious mouth parts of the demon Spider-Woman's abdomen, and the blade was 2/3 immersed. The sharp whistling sound was deafening, and a terrible number appeared above the demon Spider-Woman's head. 108. The pale green juice spurted out wildly, dripping along the blade of the long knife like a ball. You stabbed me with 10 claws, I cut you with 1 knife. Bai Pu ignored the crazy biting of the demon Spider-Woman, held the handle of the knife with both hands, turned it 90 degrees, and then suddenly pulled it to the side. Green blood spurted out wildly, and a horrible wound was torn open on the abdomen of the demon Spider-Woman. The green internal organs and intestines flowed out along with the body fluids. The health value of the demon Spider-Woman also fell to the bottom in an instant. How could she, an agile demon, have much health value? However, the demon was obviously very strong in vitality. Her spider legs were digging on the ground, and she was trying to seal her wounds with this oil covered with humus. This was an instinctive will to survive. Bai Pu's heart moved slightly, and he reached out his finger and hooked the smooth chin of the demon Spider-Woman. The demon Spider-Woman raised her face and looked at Bai Pu pitifully. It was her usual method to confuse travelers with her beautiful face. Want to survive? Become my slave. Bai Pu's finger suddenly stabbed into the mouth of the demon Spider-Woman, and pure blood was injected. Bai Pu chose to control the demon Spider-Woman, and the loss was only a blue treasure chest of a level 3 elite, and at most 1 blue suit, which was regarded as an initial investment. The demon Spider-Woman let out a sharp hiss, obviously unwilling to sink. However, her resistance was in vain. As a reinforced elite template, Bai Pu had a natural template suppression on her, and his level was not lower than hers. You controlled the demon Spider-Woman to become your slave. The slave does not have a complete logical thinking ability, but only has the desire to devour flesh and blood. You can choose. 1. Release the influence of evolutionary instincts to completely destroy the slave's desire for flesh and blood, making it a deformer. 2. Suppress the influence of evolutionary instincts and retain their desire to devour flesh and blood. If you do this, the other party will not be deformed. If you choose the first one, it is obvious that you want to completely tame the demon Spider-Woman and bring her to the main city after modification. In the eyes of the natives, Bai Pu is a magician who tames monsters. But Bai Pu chose the second one, retaining the demon Spider-Woman's desire to devour flesh and blood. After Bai Pu's selection, the demon Spider-Woman's body did not change, but her eyes showed deep awe for Bai Pu, and even the severely injured mouth parts were carefully hidden in the abdominal cavity. It was like a tiger with bared fangs and claws, suddenly seeing the trainer who beat him up from childhood coming with an iron rod, and immediately hid his claws and fangs, lying on his back with his belly exposed, showing his gentleness and harmlessness. Bai Pu added 7 attributes to the demon Spider-Woman's agility, and the demon Spider-Woman's spider legs became longer and stronger, and the nails on the tip even flashed the cold and hard luster of metal. Suddenly, a prompt message from the spirit world came, based on your hidden title, Limit Breaker, your servant, the Spider Girl, has received a bonus, all combat expertise and combat skills +1. Currently, The Spider Girl's combat expertise has been upgraded to advanced level 4, and her main skill, Demonized Spider Silk, has been upgraded to level 4. Please select a level 4 enhanced special effect for her. The bonus of the Limit Breaker not only affects Bai Pu himself, but also enhances the servant. Bai Pu took a quick look and selected 2 level 4 enhanced special effects. Advanced Combat Expertise Level 4 Special Effect, Jab, increases the speed of your fist and foot light attacks by +10. The Spider Girl's spider leg attack is obviously considered a fist and foot attack. Although there is a layer of scary keratin spikes at the tip of the spider leg that looks like metal, it is undeniable that it is something that grows on people, and is no different from human fists and nails. Demonized Spider Silk Level 4 Special Effect, Perception Web. The Spider Girl has added a new perception type, Delicate Spider Silk, weaving a large-scale perception web, which can accurately perceive living things attached to the delicate spider silk. The special effects of the perception network are mainly used for exploration. Bai Pu knows his weaknesses. As a Lone Ranger, he lacks the wide-range perception ability of a person with spiritual expertise. But Bai Pu is very wary of others and doesn't like to form a team, so he has to rely on the ability of his servants to make up for it. Bai Pu took out a box of first aid cream and applied it to the side abdomen of the demon spider woman. This is a mutant hemostatic drug from the Three Kingdoms plane with a strength of 2.4. It immediately relieved the bleeding effect of the demon spider woman, and her life value, which was on the verge of death, slowly recovered. It's not that the effect of the first aid cream is so strong, but as a demon, the demon spider woman has a strong regeneration and recovery ability, and the role of the first aid cream is the icing on the cake. The next step is communication. The demon spider woman's intelligence is very low, and she can't even speak a complete language. But after Bai Pu's patient talk and comparison, he still learned from her the direction of the nearest human main city, Wangbi City, and the location of the Black Swamp, the territory of the demon camp. You just hide in the forest and act on your original instincts. When I need you, I will call you with the induction of the source blood. After leaving these words, Bai Pu carried the headless corpse on the ground and walked straight towards Wangbi City. The demon spider woman waited until Bai Pu disappeared before limping back to the forest. The 3 consecutive updates of the New World are here. Please give me your monthly votes, your recommendation votes, and most importantly, please subscribe. Chapter 87 The Oath of Protection. Wangbi City. It is said to be the main city of mankind, but in this era of backward productivity, it is just a large human settlement. There is not even a decent city wall, only a low-earth wall. The outer city area is a row of houses and shops of civilians, while the inner city area is where the warrior class lives. The city lord's mansion located in the center of the inner city is a relatively magnificent villa complex. However, Bai Pu did not despise this backward city. In his opinion, even with towering city walls, it can't stop the demon spider woman who is good at climbing and spitting spider silk. The means of Wangbi City to defend against monsters lies in the demon-slaying talismans surrounding the city. These talismans are invisible to the naked eye, but Bai Pu has the ability of a small range of mental scanning. When he approached the city gate, he had already sensed the implicit pressure brought by those talismans. Just as Bai Pu was looking at Wangbi City, he was also seen by the gate guards with a strange appearance of carrying a headless corpse on his back. "Who are you?" The gate guards stopped Bai Pu and shouted sternly. Bai Pu put the body down and said calmly, "I am a wandering warrior from afar. In the jungle of demons, I saw a poor man who died innocently. I brought his body back and asked his family to identify it. It turned out to be a wild warrior." The guard rubbed his fingers and wanted to ask for benefits, but when he saw the turtle body and snake tail pattern on the back of the corpse's clothes, he was suddenly shocked. "It's the Zuanwu family emblem of the Beaming family." The guard said sharply, "Go and report to the city lord. Master Taiyu of the Beaming family has found the body." At the city gate, after a lot of chaos, Bai Pu was surrounded by heavy soldiers and entered the city lord's mansion. The city lord of Wangbi City is called Luan Shan. At first, the city lord Luan Shan did not dare to meet Bai Pu, and first asked 2 warriors under his command to hold a device like a probe to prick Bai Pu's fingertips to draw blood. Bai Pu asked and learned that this was a demon detection needle that can detect demonic and demonic energy. If Bai Pu light and there was a demonic aura in his blood, the demon detecting needle would turn black. Bai Pu asked, "When I was trying to retrieve the body of Master Bei Ming Taiyu, I fought a demon spider. What if I was contaminated with a demonic aura?" The warrior shook his head and said, "The demon detecting needle will only react to the demonic aura in your own blood, and will not change due to the contamination of external aura. Otherwise, those ghost warriors who hold demonized weapons will not be able to prove their innocence." Bai Pu was relieved. In this way, even if those awakened people who entered first wanted to frame him, it would be difficult to do so. After the demon detecting needle was verified to be correct, the Lord of Luanshan City finally showed up. The Lord of Luanshan City is a fat middle-aged man with 2 slightly curly mustaches, but his voice is a little shrill. "Well, are you the wild warrior who brought back the remains of Master Tiu? You are indeed quite capable of defeating the demon spider woman of Zuangkong Mountain. But if you want to gain the trust of this lord, there is something you must get. The spirit world will prompts. Your camp selection progress has been updated. Bring the headless corpse to one of the main cities of the Guardian Camp. You have joined the Guardian Camp. Based on your achievements in defeating the demon spider woman and retrieving the body of Beaming Tiu, your initial reputation in the Guardian Camp has increased by 400 points, and you have gained 40 merits. Current reputation level, friendly, 400/1000. Bai Pu asked, "What is it?" "The oath seal of the Beaming family." The Lord of Luanshan City twisted his beard and explained the whole story. "Wild warriors like you who fight against demons are infected by the breath of demons for a long time and are very likely to degenerate into demons. Therefore, if you want to fight to protect this city lord, you must have the oath seal of the Beaming family." Bai Pu curled his lips secretly. The Lord of Luanshan City was completely flattering himself. What fighting to protect the city lord? According to his understanding, the strong men in the world of inner demons generally fight for obsessions, such as the people they care about, relatives, lovers, etc. With obsession, they will be constrained. Although the individual strength of the indigenous strongmen is strong, the relatives, friends and lovers they care about often do not have this power. In order to let their relatives, friends and lovers live happily in the world, the strong will also succumb to the city lord who is powerless. Of course, some strong men are for some special obsessions. For example, the famous Beaming family's current patriarch, Beaming Zuanjing School's current patriarch, and the powerful man known as the King of the North Beaming Jihu. His obsession is to reach the highest realm of swordsmanship with a mortal body. In summary, the strong men of the Guardian Camp, rather than fighting to protect the city lord, are better said to fight to protect the people. The consciousness of the strong men in the heart demon world is much stronger than the self-satisfied city lord. With the oath seal, you will not be affected by the aura of demons. Bai Pu asked. The Lord of Luanshan City sneered and said, "What are you thinking about? If the aura of demons is so easy to isolate, there will be no vicious incidents of ghost warriors falling into demons. The purpose of the oath seal is to warn everyone if you fall into demons, a warning to stay away from you." The reminder message of the will of the spirit world came. Mainline Mission I, Guardian's Oath, Mission Target, obtain a Guardian's Oath seal. Mission deadline, 10 days. Mission difficulty, B. Mission reward, open the Guardian Camp's merit exchange function failure penalty, exile. Bai Pu, who had triggered the main quest, nodded slightly. He no longer had the interest to continue chatting with the fat city lord. He stood up and said, "I understand. I will get this qualification." When leaving the city lord's mansion, Bai Pu vaguely heard the sharp voice of Luanshan city lord behind him. "A wild warrior from a small place just doesn't know etiquette. If he hadn't brought back the body of Master Beaming Tiu, he would have made some contributions." Walking on the relatively clean streets of the inner city, Bai Pu felt a pang of hunger in his stomach. The shops in the inner city are more upscale than those in the outer city. There are many shops selling snacks along the street, and the aroma of delicious food is wafting. Bai Pu, who had just consumed a drop of pure blood, was eager to get his index finger moved. This was an instinctive reaction from the body. His heart wanted to absorb more spiritual nutrients and store new pure blood. Bai Pu held back, for no other reason than that he was short of money. He missed the time in the Three Kingdoms, Red Cliff Plain world, when he had 1,000 strings of pocket money and a large amount of military funds for purchasing medicinal materials, and he could spend it however he wanted. It was a pity that the gold and silver exchanged for the 1,000 strings of money could not be taken out of the Red Cliff scene, otherwise Bai Pu would not have to worry about money when exploring the spirit world. The gold and silver valuables in the real world cannot be brought to the spirit world. Only the currency produced in the spirit world can circulate in the spirit world. Bai Pu took a few quick steps and left the snack street. His goal was a dojo next to the city lord's mansion. Beaming Dojo. As one of the 4 inherited families, the Beaming family is undoubtedly the uncrowned king of the entire Zhuangwu mountain plain. Although this mysterious and powerful family does not care about secular politics, the human cities in the Zhuangwu mountain plain, regardless of whether the city lord is incompetent or not, have maintained a high degree of awe for the Beaming family. Beaming Dojo is the only stronghold of the Beaming family in Wangbi City. The oath curse seal that Bai Pu's main task is to obtain comes from this dojo. Chapter 88 I want to kill you, but not now. Since Bai Pu already had a friendly reputation in the Guardian camp, he was not harassed after explaining his purpose. The gatekeeper of the dojo introduced him to the courtyard to meet the owner. The owner was a thin middle-aged man who had practiced sword for many years. There was a thick layer of calluses on his knuckles. He sat upright, and even when he didn't say a word, his vigorous aura was overwhelming. The owner of Wangbi City was quite powerful. He was the cousin of the king of the North Beaming Jihu, named Bimingchuan. Bai Pu used 9 chapters, and spent 4 points of mental power to explore. Bimingchuan was at the level of a level 4 enhanced elite. After Bai Pu explained his purpose, Bimingchuan looked embarrassed and said, "Your Excellency has come at an untimely time." Bai Pu smiled and said, "I know that the oath seal of your dojo will not be given out casually. Only powerful warriors who are truly fighting on the front line with demons are qualified to obtain it. However, I have proved my strength." Bai Mingchuan shook his head and said, "With your merits in defeating the demon spider woman and retrieving the remains of my people, the oath seal should have been presented directly. But unfortunately, the last oath seal has just been taken away by a warrior. Are oath seals very rare? Can't they be remade?" Bai Pu asked with a frown. There was a fire before, and the lurking demons raided Wangbi City and burned many oath seals. A trace of sadness appeared in Bai Mingchuan's eyes. As for remaking, it was originally possible. It's just that the person responsible for making the oath seal has passed away. His body was sent back by you. That headless corpse, Bai Mingtiayu? He was called Master. It turned out that he was the aboriginal figure who was responsible for making the black tortoise curse seal? Bai Pu narrowed his eyes. He had already sensed something was wrong. The difficulty of this task was not high, only B, which meant that after experiencing a battle of low intensity and gaining the recognition of the aboriginals, he could obtain the black tortoise oath curse seal. Bai Pu had the merit of defeating the demon spider woman, so it should be that he had met the difficulty of the B+ task, but now he could not complete the task. Bai Pu remembered that he was queuing to enter the heart demon world this time, and there were awakeners in the same batch who entered the heart demon world in advance. Is this what the awakener team of the Superstar Alliance did? Do you want me to be unable to complete the main task? Bai Mingchuan was busy with affairs, so he said goodbye after explaining the situation. Leaving the dojo, Bai Pu walked while concentrating on thinking. It seems that the awakeners who join the Guardian camp must first obtain the Black Tortoise Oath Curse seal. The other party must have determined the content of Bai Pu's main task from this. It is very difficult to target Bai Pu, because Zhuangwu Oath Seal is not a scarce item. Beaming Dao Cheng has a lot of stocks, and there is also the maker Beaming Tiayu. But this is the home of the Superstar Alliance after all. Their generations of awakened people have been deeply involved in the world of inner demons, and the relationship inherited is deeply rooted. First there was a fire, and then there was the ambush against Beaming Tiayu, which forced Zhuangwu Oath Seal to be on the verge of being out of stock. When Bai Pu came to Wangbi City, there should be only 1 or 2 Zhuangwu Oath Seal left. If it was out of stock before Bai Pu's main quest was triggered, the difficulty of Bai Pu's main quest would definitely not be B level, but above A level. The Superstar Alliance must have another awakened person in the Guardian camp, who exchanged the last Zhuangwu Oath Seal when Bai Pu met the Lord of Luanshan City and triggered the main quest. Bai Pu was facing the crisis of being unable to complete the main quest. Such an obvious conspiracy is already a half showdown. The Superstar Alliance should have arranged people in the demon camp. The one who killed Bai Mingtiayu should be an awakener from the demon camp. As soon as Bai Pu entered the plain world of Heart Demon Oath, he encountered a setback. The powerful influence of the Superstar Alliance in this world was revealed without a doubt. Are you Steelheart? Suddenly, an awakener blocked Bai Pu's way. Although this person's clothes were transformed into the appearance of aboriginals, the spirit and energy of the awakener were not concealed. This awakener was thin and had a big head. He looked like a reed stick with a big pumpkin. Let me introduce myself. My code name is Yao Guang. Yao Guang sneered and said, I took the last oath seal. What's the matter? You can't complete the main task. Are you in a hurry? Do you want to trap me? The oath seal has the characteristic of cannot be taken out of this plane. Kill me or drive me out of this world, and the oath seal will belong to you. Ho ha ho ha. Yao Guang proudly showed Bai Pu his arm. On his dry arm, there was a pattern of a strange beast with a turtle body and a snake tail. It was obviously the so-called black tortoise oath seal. You want me to retreat and join the demon camp? Bai Pu's words stopped Yao Guang's laughter. He continued, let me guess, why do you want me to choose the demon camp? It is probably because the guardian camp has greater restrictions on the internal fighting among the awakeners, and it is not convenient to besiege me, while the demon camp does not care about this kind of internal friction. If I attack you, I will fall into your trap. Maybe there is a strong man from the guardian camp nearby, and you have a good relationship with him. If I take action, he will never stand idly by, and my reputation will face an avalanche. In addition, the main task is blocked. My only choice is to escape from the city and join the demon camp. Yao Guang's eyes widened slightly. He did not expect Bai Pu to be so calm. When he heard Bai Pu say, maybe there is a strong man from the guardian camp nearby, his eyes unconsciously glanced at the wine shop next to him, and saw a blue-shirted swordsman sitting by the window. Bai Pu's eyes also looked over. The blue-shirted swordsman was full of heroic spirit, with long hair tied casually behind his head, and the power of wind seemed to surge all over his body. According to the information from the world of inner demon, oath, this blue-shirted swordsman should be Dongbo Changzi, who is known as the Dancer of the Wind. Dongbo Changzi is also a strong man from the Dongbo family, one of the 4 major inherited families. His fighting style is full of elegance and calmness, and every move seems to be dancing with the natural rhythm of nature. But after the gorgeous dance, what is left is often the enemy's white bones and dripping blood. At this time, Dongbo Changzi had just taken a sip of wine, and his eyes seemed to sweep over intentionally or unintentionally. Bai Pu looked at him, and his eyes felt a little stinging, which showed the sharpness of the other party's spirit. This was considered to be a verification of his speculation. In fact, the reason why Bai Pu speculated so was very simple. Yao Guang was an awakener who had gone through the test of the trial mission. How could he come out to taunt for a moment? The best way was to hide and not appear in front of Bai Pu, wasting Bai Pu's time. At the beginning, Bai Pu used the main task to kill the Stinger squad, but he never showed up from beginning to end, let alone taunt. So Yao Guang's face-to-face output must be a trap. If Bai Pu had just been provoked and started, he would have been completely passive. Yao Guang snorted and said coldly, you don't have the courage to kill me, so why are you talking so much? You are wrong, I want to kill you. Bai Pu smiled indifferently, but, not now. After that, Bai Pu ignored the surprised Yao Guang and turned to walk towards the wine shop. Under Yao Guang's doubtful eyes, Bai Pu walked straight to Dancer of the Wind Dongbo Changzi and sat in front of this handsome blue-shirted swordsman. Starting today, the trial of 3 updates for 1 week. Update time: 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1800 hours. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, Facing the Minotaur. Dongbo Changzi, the young patriarch of the Dongbo family, belongs to Guardian Camp, King Long Oath, likes gorgeous and elegant things, dislikes ugly and dirty things, habits, mild misophobia, verbal habit, gorgeous, school, Wu Fengliu secret sword art, current status, traveling around, when Bai Pu walked up, Dongbo Changzi's information had already turned over in his mind. The reason why Bai Pu had the courage to come uninvited and sit directly opposite this famous aboriginal strongman was because of 2 reasons. First, Dongbo Changzi likes gorgeous and elegant things. Bai Pu has already established initial confidence in his appearance. Bai Pu's hidden attribute, the charm value, is very high, which may not be of much significance to those aboriginals who do not value appearance, but it is an extra point for Dongbo Changzi, who is a face control. Second, Bai Pu's reputation in the Guardian camp has reached the friendly level. Of course, before Dongbo Changzi knew about Bai Pu's deeds, Bai Pu's reputation was in a hidden state and could not be directly used. But even hidden reputation will affect Dongbo Changzi's first impression of Bai Pu, such as inexplicably feeling that the person in front of him is somewhat friendly and so on. In the scene of Red Cliff, the deeds of Quang Chan who stabbed Xiao Jun in the back were not known to Xiao Zhang yet, but his reputation had already collapsed. Although Xiao Zhang would not take the initiative to attack Quang Chan, he would inexplicably feel that Quang Chan was very annoying. It was just that Xiao Zhang was in a critical moment at that time, and the appearance of Quang Chan made him think that reinforcements had arrived, which diluted the annoying mood. Sure enough, after Bai Pu sat down, Dongbo Changzi looked at Bai Pu, without showing any disgust, but said lightly, "You seem to be very rude, which is not in line with your gorgeous appearance." Bai Pu coughed lightly. "I am a wandering warrior wandering outside, pursuing the way of the sword. Seeing a strong man like you, I can't help but want to make friends, but I don't care about some etiquette." Outside the wine shop, Yao Guang hugged his skinny arms and looked into the wine shop with a sneer. Although the originally expected scene, Dongbo Changzi was angry and taught Yang Xin a lesson, did not appear, he was not in a hurry. After all, as the young patriarch of the Dongbo family, Dongbo Changzi was almost a protagonist in the world. It is conceivable that his vision was high, and it was definitely not possible to close the distance with just a few words. If Yao Guang had not had the token left by the Superstar Alliance Master after discovering the plot, it would be impossible to establish a good impression with Dongbo Changzi at the level of acquaintances in just 2 days. Facing Bai Pu's courtesy, Dongbo Changzi did not even raise his eyelids, but just drank by himself. Such an indifferent attitude obviously wanted Bai Pu to give up. Bai Pu took out a slightly old silk and sighed, "I got this secret book by chance. Although I have insights from time to time, my talent is dull and my progress is very little." What Bai Pu took out was the Xianlong fragment he obtained in the Red Cliff scene. Dongbo Changzi paused in his drinking, squinted his eyes and looked at the Xianlong fragment, then asked cautiously, "Can I see it?" Bai Pu handed it over without hesitation. Just this one action, Dongbo Changzi's favorability towards him increased by 300 points. It reached the maximum value of ordinary favorability, and it was just a little bit away from reaching the level of acquaintance. Xianlong fragment was exploded from Xiao Zhang's treasure chest, but it is very likely to be a clue to Lu Bu's halberd method. What kind of person is Lu Bu, the #1 general in the Three Kingdoms? The difficulty of the Three Kingdoms, Red Cliff, scene, or the intensity of the psychic particles is as high as 2.4, which is not the same as the Heart Demon, Oath, world with a difficulty of 1.8. The martial arts clues left by such a strong man are priceless in the eyes of an aboriginal strong man like Dongbo Changzi. The reason why Bai Pu dared to offer the fragment without hesitation and was not afraid of Dongbo Changzi's ignorance was based on the description of Dongbo Changzi in the intelligence. The young patriarch is a perfectionist and will not allow himself to have any flaws, from clothing and residence to appearance, swordsmanship, and character. He cannot accept any stains. Forcibly taking Bai Pu's Xianlong fragments must be considered a stain on his character, and Dongbo Changzi disdains it. Dongbo Changzi took the Xianlong fragments and read it page by page. There was joy and thought on his face, but in the end it turned to regret, and he handed it back to Bai Pu. This secret scroll is incomplete, and the style is mainly domineering and fierce, supplemented by small and feminine, 7 parts yang and 3 parts yin, which is inconsistent with my self-created Wu Fengliu secret swordsmanship. I'm afraid I can't guide you. Obviously, Dongbo Changzi's regret is that he can't draw nourishment from the secret scroll. Bai Pu was also mentally prepared, so he asked, "Can you tell me who I should go to for guidance?" Perhaps it was because of the goodwill Bai Pu had shown when he was willing to borrow the secret scroll. Dongbo Changzi did not hide it and said with a smile, "As far as I know, there are 2 places where you can find someone who can give you guidance. One is the Zhou family in the south of the continent. Their fighting style is fierce and domineering, and they have a lot in common with the secret scroll." Bai Pu smiled helplessly. The Zhou family was the founder of the Suzaku Oath. Their base camp was far away in the Ash Sea in the south, thousands of miles away from Zhuangwu Mountain. In the short time of exploring the spirit world, they could not go there anyway. Unless they were lucky enough to meet a top master of the Zhou family in Zhuangwu Mountain. Dongbo Changzi continued, in addition to the Zhu family, there is another person who is the strongest in the world. He is the current head of the Beiming family, Lord Beiming Jihu. After a pause, Dongbo Changzi said with some aftertaste, I traveled to the Zhuangwu Mountains and visited the basalt rocks. I was fortunate to have a competition with Lord Beiming Jihu. He is dedicated to the pursuit of the ultimate in swordsmanship. Not only has he practiced a Beiming Zhuanjing style to a gorgeous state, but he has also learned from many others and can easily master any school of swordsmanship in the world. I think he is qualified to point out the contents of this secret scroll. Bai Pu seemed to be thinking about something. The difficulty of interpreting the Xianlong fragment is indeed terrifyingly high. Beiming Jihu is known as the King of the North. His strength is close to the level of the general boss in the Heart Demon, Oath, world. He is the well-deserved #1 person in the Guardian camp. It is much more difficult to gain his favor than Dongbo Changzi. If Bai Pu rashly goes to ask for advice when his favorability is not high, Beiming Jihu might even turn against him and snatch the incomplete scroll. After all, Bai Pu is just a wandering wild warrior. Beiming Jihu's obsession is to reach the pinnacle of swordsmanship with a mortal body. He does not have moral cleanliness and cannot be treated the same as Dongbo Changzi Hi. Bai Pu looked up at Dongbo Changzi Hi, and he quickly came up with an alternative plan, which was to save the country in a roundabout way. Manage Dongbo Changzi Hi's favorability. After becoming friends with Dongbo Changzi Hi, ask him to take him to Basalt to meet Beiming Jihu. This is a kind of insurance. Bai Pu thinks that Beiming Jihu should not do such a shameless thing as turning against him and snatching the secret scroll in front of Dongbo Changzi Hi. However, before Bai Pu said a few words to Dongbo Changzi Hi, someone couldn't sit still. A big head squeezed over from the side. It was Yu Guang. Originally, Yu Guang felt superior. After all, among the awakeners who entered this batch, he was the only one who could raise Dongbo Changzi's favorability to the level of acquaintance. Bai Pu could actually talk to Dongbo Changzi. This behavior was like a bull-headed man in front of him. How could Yu Guang not be anxious? Note, bull-headed man is a common name for NTR. Bull-headed man in front of him means to commit a crime in front of the husband. If there are pure benefactors who don't understand, you can try Baidu. That's all I have to say. Chapter 90 Ugly Scar. Seeing the skinny awakener Yu Guang with a pumpkin-like head squeezed over and sat next to him, Dongbo Changzi frowned slightly, but did not say anything to drive him away. At this time, his voice was probably, ugly, don't get close to me. But Yu Guang helped him find a long-lost token of the Dongbo family, which was considered a merit. Dongbo Changzi had a certain degree of favorability towards him, so he could only endure the visual discomfort a little. Master Dongbo, you have to be careful of this person, he doesn't have the oath curse. Yu Guang said. Dongbo Changzi said I know. Didn't you say that this person is a lurking demon and might attack you on the spot? But the result is not as you said. Yu Guang gritted his teeth and said, he knew that Master Dongbo was around, so he didn't dare to make a move. Dongbo Changzi's eyes slowly swept over. Bai Pu smiled softly and directly opened his coarse cloth clothes, the transformed clothes of the spirit world's will. On the shoulders and chest, the mottled scars left by the demon spider woman are still clearly visible. In particular, the spider claws of the demon spider woman are poisonous. Although they will not continue to deduct blood, they will reduce the upper limit of life by 10% before the toxins are removed, a long-term chronic toxin effect that is not fatal but very disgusting. It is manifested in Bai Pu's body, that is, every punctured position has a slight swelling, showing purple-red blood and white pus. Bai Pu returned to the city and did not deal with the toxins immediately. He did not even activate the adaptive evolution ability of inactivating blood to reduce the impact of toxins on the body. In order to leave the scars of his battle with the demon spider woman in front of the natives, this is the medal of the demon slayer. This is the scar left by the toxins of the demon spider woman. What an ugly scar. Dongbo Changzi frowned slightly. Obviously, he had a slight mysophobia and did not like the scars on Bai Pu's body. However, Dongbo Changzi's eyes did not show his dislike for Bai Pu, but his dislike for Bai Pu's scars. That look was like seeing a piece of fine porcelain stained with bird shit, and he wanted to ask someone to clean the bird shit immediately, leaving the fine porcelain for appreciation. So Dongbo Changzi directly took out a bottle of detoxifying ointment and said to Bai Pu, hurry up and clean the scars. Such a gorgeous body should not coexist with such ugly scars. Bai Pu took the ointment and received a prompt from the will of the spirit world. Evergreen ointment, temporary loan, A-level item, immediately removes all abnormal states of the user below priority. 5. Eliminates scars, and increases the user's hidden attribute, charm by 10 points, lasting for 24 hours. The remaining number of uses of this item, 10/10, cannot be taken out of this world. Obviously Dongbo Changzi was lending it to Bai Pu for use. According to the principle of the will of the spirit world that you get what you give, it is impossible to give Bai Pu a powerful A-level item like this for free. Unless Dongbo Changzi is a woman, and has a high degree of affection for Bai Pu. A woman who is in love cannot be judged by common sense, so she may give the evergreen cream to Bai Pu. But even if Dongbo Changzi is willing to give it, Bai Pu cannot take it out of this world. Otherwise, in the world of blood plague origin, Bai Pu has put the noble zither in 18 different positions. Wouldn't it be easy to ask for a few golden equipment and A-level props? The key is that the items obtained in this way cannot be taken out of this world, and there is no point at all. Bai Pu took the evergreen cream, picked up a little the size of a matchstick tip with his fingernails, and applied it on his chest. The medicinal power automatically traveled on the surface of Bai Pu's skin, and the swelling of the area originally swollen by the toxin quickly subsided. These wounds can prove my position and strength. Bai Pu returned the Changqing ointment to Dongbo Changzi and asked, Master Dongbo, are you willing to give me a pledge seal? The main quest only said obtain a pledge seal, and did not specify that you must get the Zuan Wu seal. It is also possible to get the Qinglong seal. However, in Bai Pu's speculation, the probability that Dongbo Changzi carries the Qinglong pledge seal is no more than 30%, and the probability that he is willing to give himself the pledge seal is even lower than 10%. But he has to try it. Sure enough, Dongbo Changzi shook his head and said, I went out to travel, and I didn't bring any extra pledges with me. Besides, this is the Zuanwu mountain plain. If I give you the Qinglong pledge, it would be against the rules. In short, this is the territory of the Beaming family. Dongbo Changzi can come here to travel, but it would be too much to develop power here. Yaguang sneered. If he was not absolutely sure that Dongbo Changzi would not help Bai Pu complete the main task, how could he lead Dongbo Changzi here and make it possible for Bai Pu to meet him? Bai Pu's face was still as calm as before, and he said to Dongbo Changzi, It's me, Meng Lang. Although I don't have the oath seal and can't get the trust of the Guardians, I am still willing to work for the Guardians. If Lord Dongbo needs it, I will do my best. This is to dig out the possible side quests on Dongbo Changzi. Yaguang hated and envied, and interrupted, Don't waste your energy. Without the oath seal, who dares to believe that you are not a demon? Even if you are not now, if you fall into the devil, without the warning of the oath, we may all be stabbed in the back by you. The biggest advantage of the demon camp is that the strong men in the guardian camp may fall into the devil. Therefore, in order to trust each other, the guardian camp developed the means of oath by the 4 major inheritance families. Obtaining a certain oath is equivalent to obtaining the recognition of a certain inheritance family. Once a warrior holding the oath is possessed by a demon, the oath seal will self-destruct, and other warriors holding the oath will also be warned. The meaning of the oath is deeply rooted, and even the cool Dongbo Changzi cannot ignore it. Bai Pu smiled indifferently and said, Before obtaining the oath seal, I will not act collectively with other guardians. But I think there will always be tasks that I can complete alone. Dongbo Changzi nodded slightly. Well, since you insist. Originally, Mr. Bai Mingchuan entrusted me to go to the Black Swamp to explore the information of the demon stronghold. This matter is left to you. The message of the spirit world's will came. Side quest, explore the Black Swamp. Task description, go to the Black Swamp in Zuanwu mountain plain to explore the distribution information of demons. Task difficulty, unknown. Task deadline, equivalent to the remaining length of your stay in this plane. Task reward, guardian camp merit value, depending on the completion of the task, failure penalty, none. This is a side quest discovered by Bai Pu with his personal charm. The difficulty itself is floating, and the reward is also floating. It is estimated that the difficulty of the task and the range of rewards are related to the detailed intelligence of Bai Pu. If Bai Pu only takes a quick look at the edge of the Black Swamp, it is estimated that the difficulty will be very low and the reward will be small. But if Bai Pu goes deep into the Black Swamp and finds out the detailed intelligence of most areas of the Black Swamp, He can get a lot of merit points. Of course, the difficulty is also extremely high. The Guardian camp has strong people like Bai Mingjihu and Dongbo Changzhi, and the Demon camp naturally has them too. Even in terms of high-level combat power, it is still more stable than the Guardian camp. The so-called blackening is 10 times stronger, and the widening is 3 points weaker. This is really appropriate in the world of Inner Demon, Oath. When the ghost warriors fall into the devil, they can often give full play to the power of the demonized weapons, and their combat power often increases instead of decreasing. What's more, the demon's injuries heal very quickly, and as long as the head is not chopped off, it can often regenerate quickly. In the Black Swamp, in addition to elite demons like the Demon Spider Woman, there are also general-level demons who can rule a region, or demon generals. This is a presence that can rival the powerful indigenous warriors like Dongbo Changzhi. And the most powerful demon in the Black Swamp, the Black Emperor, is even more powerful than Bai Mingjihu. Chapter 91 I paid for my life. Under the envious and jealous gaze of Yao Guang, Bai Pu took on the side quest and walked away proudly. He walked all the way out of the city, followed the road he came from, and entered the dark jungle of the Hanging Mountain. Come out, my servant. Bai Pu used the source blood to call out to his servant, the demon spider girl. This was not a 1,000-mile voice transmission, but a perception derived from the power of blood. Soon, a rustling sound was heard, accompanied by the rhythmic sound of pop and pop of objects hitting the trees, and the figure of the demon spider girl leaped between the trees and flew over. With a snap, the demon spider girl landed not far in front of Bai Pu. On her beautiful face, a pair of eyes stared at Bai Pu, revealing a faint look of awe. Bai Pu quickly drew out his sharp long knife, got into a fighting posture, and shouted sternly, "Demon! You dare to come? Isn't the lesson you learned last time enough?" Demon Spider Woman. Bai Pu's voice was calm and cold. "Last time I was alone, and you escaped with serious injuries. This time I have a companion behind me. You can't escape." The Demon Spider Woman finally understood what Bai Pu meant, raised her head, and suddenly jumped onto a big tree. With a snapping of spider silk, the Demon Spider Woman had already jumped to a position about 100 meters behind Bai Pu. Her charming eyes suddenly turned blood red, and with a sharp whistle, she shot the demonized spider silk at a position. There was only a bush at that position, but with the shooting of the demonized spider silk, a thin figure suddenly rolled out. The Demon Spider Woman missed the first shot, but did not attack again, but bounced around the big tree in the field. After a few laps, she finally stopped and tilted her head to look at Bai Pu. It means that there are no other stalkers around. That slender figure was obviously an awakener. Bai Pu used 9 chapters to explore, consuming 3 points of mental power and learned the target's information. Name? Ordinary level 3, race, humanoid human, profession, shadow scout, attributes, strength 10, agility 19, endurance 11, spirit 6, skills 1-3, shadow lurking, profession? This shadow scout was a little confused about the relationship between the Demon Spider Woman and Bai Pu, and thought that the Demon Spider Woman was here to attack Bai Pu. He immediately activated the acceleration skill, turned around and ran, indicating that he had nothing to do with Bai Pu, and was not Bai Pu's companion. However, no matter how fast he was, he could not be faster than the Demon Spider Woman in this forest. Snap! The Demon Spider Woman's spider silk ricocheted over the head of the Shadow Scout, and the sharp spider legs chopped down. The Shadow Scout raised his dagger to block, but the Demon Spider Woman's speed was much faster than his. The spider claws accurately knocked the dagger away and pierced his chest. The advanced 4th level combat expertise, plus the 4th level special effect jab acceleration, crushed the low-level awakeners. Of course, it was also because the Demon Spider Woman was an elite template, and her attributes suppressed the Shadow Scout in all directions. When the Demon Spider Woman pulled out her claws, the sharp metal hooks at the tip of the claws hooked a large piece of flesh, and blood was dripping. The Shadow Scout screamed in pain and rolled outward. The Demon Spider Woman followed him like a shadow, and her 2 spider claws auto-nailed into his shoulders, nailing him to a big tree. Seeing the terrifying and hideous mouth parts on the abdomen of the Demon Spider Woman slowly approaching, the Shadow Scout was shocked and frightened, and couldn't help shouting to Bai Pu, "If you don't come to help me, this demon will kill you next." It turns out that an awakened person of an ordinary profession is so powerless when facing an elite demon of the same level. Bai Pu muttered to himself and walked over. Of course, As a shadow scout, your combat power is a weakness, and your advantage lies in hiding. This is why they sent you to follow me. The shadow scout saw that the demon spider woman was not on guard against Bai Pu, and suddenly realized, this demon is your accomplice. It turns out that you have joined the demon camp a long time ago. You have discovered me a long time ago. Bai Pu shook his head slightly. His pretentious performance at the beginning was not because he discovered the shadow scout. After all, Bai Pu's mental scanning range is very small, and the shadow scout is hiding 100 meters away, which is a place that Bai Pu cannot sense. Bai Pu just inferred based on common sense that there is a high probability that there is a tail behind him, and it was sent by the Superstar Alliance. So after he called the demon spider lady, he immediately hinted to her to check the surroundings to see if anyone was following. The demon spider lady's way of sensing prey is quite special, which is through vibration. After the main skill, demonized spider silk is upgraded to level 4, in addition to the hardened spider silk used for combat, she can also secrete fine spider silk that is invisible to the naked eye and spread out with the wind. Just now, the demon spider lady circled around Bai Pu for 100 meters, which was actually secreting inductive spider silk, weaving an invisible large web around. All the movements in this web are within the perception of the demon spider lady. The shadow scout thought that he would not be discovered if he hid in the shadows and did not make any movement. It was too naive. In the perception of the demon spider lady who was weaving the web with all her strength, his breathing, heartbeat and even pulse had betrayed him deeply. Not to mention him, even if Dongbo Changzi came, he would definitely be discovered by the demon spider lady. Don't kill me. The shadow scout felt the mouth parts of the spider woman slowly inserted into his body, but he didn't feel any pain at the wound. Instead, he had a lazy illusion and was horrified. He knew that the spider woman was injecting digestive enzymes to turn him into a plump and juicy soup dumpling, and then suck it clean. Bai Pu raised his hand slightly, and the spider woman stopped moving immediately. But looking at the spider woman's blood-red eyes, it was obvious that she was quite reluctant to stop. The shadow scout had a desire to survive. He didn't expect that Bai Pu could actually stop a demon who liked to kill. It seems that your status in the demon camp is higher than I thought. The shadow scout sighed. You are too powerful. I pay to buy my life, please let me go. What's your name? Bai Pu asked. I'm just a nobody. I gave myself the codename Phantom. Okay, Phantom. What price are you going to pay to buy your life? Bai Pu asked. At this time, the spider woman was monitoring Phantom's breathing and heartbeat. If he dared to lie, Bai Pu would definitely find out. I have saved more than 3,400 spiritual energy points, all for you. Phantom was frightened by the spider woman's terrifying mouthparts and didn't dare to have any small thoughts. Where is the Zuanwu oath seal? Bai Pu asked. I don't have the oath seal. My main task is not this. Phantom quickly showed his main task. Main task, communication, task target, deliver Bai Mingchuan's letter to Zuanwu Ian and hand it over to Bai Mingjihu. Task difficulty, B, task deadline. 10 days. Completion reward. 1 exquisite silver ingots, failure penalty, exile. Bai Pu was speechless after reading it. It turned out that Phantom's main task was to run errands and help Bai Mingdao Cheng deliver a letter to Zuanwu Ian. Zuanwu Ian, also known as Zuanwu, same as Zhai, is located in the north of Wangbi City. It is the headquarters of the Bai Ming family and the headquarters of Bai Ming Zuan Jingliu. Give me the letter. Bai Pu held out his hand. Phantom said sadly, if you read the letter, my main mission will fail and I will be exiled. You can use the forced escape item. Bai Pu said calmly, if I'm not mistaken, you should have a forced escape item on you, but it's not the kind of high-end item that takes effect instantly, but requires 10 seconds to prepare, and even has restrictions that the natives can't observe. Phantom looked at Bai Pu with wide eyes, as if saying how did you know? But he finally accepted his fate, endured the pain in his shoulder, and struggled to reach out and take out a letter from his arms and handed it to Bai Pu. Chapter 92. You have been to the demon abyss, right? Bai Pu took the letter. In fact, he could guess the content of the letter without reading it. It was nothing more than that the dojo was attacked by demons, the accumulated Zuanwu oath seals were burned in large quantities, and the maker Bai Mingtai was also killed. There should be another one. Bai Mingchuan was planning revenge. If it wasn't for revenge, why did Bai Mingchuan ask Dongbo Changzi to investigate the enemy situation in the Black Swamp? It's not surprising that Phantom didn't have the Zuan Wu Oath seal on his body. The Superstar Alliance team sent him to follow Bai Pu, and they must have made a plan in case Bai Pu found out. The Oath seal has the characteristics that it cannot be taken out of the plane world and will definitely fall. If Phantom is killed by Bai Pu can directly obtain the Zuan Wu Oath seal, and then half of the Superstar Alliance's early preparations will be wasted. Then the prompt message of the spirit world will come. Phantom gives you 3,481 psychic points. Do you accept it? The code name given to oneself by the awakened will be recognized by the spirit world. Some common codes for car crashes will not cause visual and auditory confusion. Bai Pu could clearly perceive that when the spirit world will mention Phantom, a layer of hazy red light flashed on the surface of the Phantom in front of him. This should be the reminder of the spirit world will. Even if there are 100 awakened people with the code name Phantom in front of him, Bai Pu will not misjudge the prompt information of the spirit world will. Can you let me go? Phantom's eyes were full of hope. You still need to do one thing. Tell me all the arrangements of the Superstar Alliance in the Heart Demon world. Bai Pu threatened. You know how powerful the intelligence network of the military special service group is. I have actually obtained a lot of intelligence. Now I'll let you say it just for verification. Once you hide something, or what you say doesn't match the number. The demon spider woman licked her plump lips with her tongue, opened her cherry mouth, and her sharp canine teeth flashed coldly. I'll tell you. Phantom was spineless and kept saying, the Superstar Alliance has experts in both camps. There are 2 experts in the Guardian camp, one codenamed Goshawk and the other codenamed Ghostlight. There is only one expert in the Demon camp, codenamed Owl. What are their professions and what powerful methods do they have? Bai Pu asked. Phantom obviously didn't know much, but he tried his best to tell the truth. Beaming Tiu, who is good at making the Black Tortoise Oath seal, should have been kidnapped and killed by Owl. Maybe there are also traitors from the Guardian camp, Goshawk and Ghostlight. Phantom said dejectedly, nothing can be hidden from you. But Goshawk didn't participate. It was mainly because Ghostlight helped him to get rid of the patrolling indigenous warriors. One last question. Bai Pu raised a finger. You have been to the border of the Superstar Alliance, Demon Abyss, right? Okay, you can go. After a round of questioning, Bai Pu signaled the demon spider woman to put down Phantom. Phantom was slightly startled, and then he quickly burst into ecstasy after surviving the catastrophe. He went around the back of the big tree, and then took out a wrinkled cigarette box with a string of numbers written on it in scribbled numbers. This cigarette box was obviously Phantom's forced escape prop, and its name was also called Stowaway's Token. 10 seconds later, Phantom's body was wrapped in white light and disappeared on the spot. The demon spider woman roared in dissatisfaction. She obviously didn't understand why Bai Pu let the enemy go. Killing this person can only harvest a low-quality bloody treasure chest at most. It's even possible that nothing will explode. Bai Pu knew that the demon spider woman understood. Even if there is a treasure chest, what's the use of the rags on his body? Letting him go, I harvested 3,000 psychic energy points and important information about the Superstar Alliance. Whether it is the Superstar Alliance's arrangement in this world or the information about the border demon abyss, it is very critical. As for whether Phantom will reveal Bai Pu's information if he escapes back to the real world alive, it actually has little impact. First of all, the awakened people in this batch have either entered the Heart Devil, Oath, Plane world or are still in the queue, so they cannot obtain new information. Secondly, Bai Pu's target is the demon abyss. This was obvious when Bai Pu and Yao Guang encountered each other. The Superstar Alliance is not a fool and must have arranged a plan for information transmission. If Phantom does not go back, there will be other awakened people who will go back to inform. Maybe when Yao Guang provoked Bai Pu, the Superstar Alliance knew that Bai Pu chose the Heart Devil, Oath, world. As for whether Phantom will take the initiative to report, I'm sorry, I told everyone about the border in order to save my life. Bai Pu thinks it shouldn't happen. Phantom is not that loyal. Let's go, chase away the tail, it's time to do business. Bai Pu comforted the depressed demon spider girl until the latter squinted her eyes and hummed comfortably, then he withdrew his palm. I called you out, not just to drive him away. You should be familiar with the demons in the Black Swamp, right? Use the demon's communication method to help me lure a few out. Bai Pu did not choose to kill the spider woman to get the treasure chest, but spent a drop of pure blood to turn her into a slave, which was considered an investment. Now, It's time to reap the rewards. The Black Swamp is a vast swamp with intricate secret passages, and only demons know the paths. The Black Swamp is filled with thin gray fog, with low visibility, and even the range of mental scanning is compressed to 1/3. According to the information, this gray fog is called demon energy. For demons, demon energy is like fish that cannot live without water. In the demon energy area, they can move freely, but outside the demon energy area, they will soon become weak and die. Demons are different. Demons are terrible monsters created by demons and ghosts living in human bodies and devouring human consciousness. They can leave the demon energy area and lurk in human settlements. Logically, demons are more threatening, but demons and ghosts cannot be left alone. Because the number of demons and ghosts increases, the demon area will gradually expand and threaten human settlements. Therefore, the strong men in the guard camp must organize teams regularly to enter the demon area and kill demons and ghosts to curb the expansion of the demon area. Moo. Accompanied by a dull roar, a sturdy bull-headed monster appeared. It roared and followed the demon spider woman. It was obviously communicating with the demon spider woman in a language that only demons could understand. This bull-headed monster is like a giant bull walking upright. It is nearly 3 meters tall, with a wide upper body and a narrow lower body. It is an inverted triangle-shaped deformed body. Its arms are extremely strong, and its hooves have evolved into 4-fingered big hands, holding a thick wooden stake as a weapon. A pair of blood-red eyes, when looking at Bai Pu, are filled with undisguised red murderous intent. Bai Pu was tied up by spider silk, lying alone on the smelly black water, and even had time to throw a probe to the bull-headed monster. Bull Ghost, Elite Level 3, Race, Demon Clan, Attributes, Strength 23, Agility 12, Stamina 30, Spirit 9, Skill 1, Stamina Specialty. Bull Ghost's HP is increased by an additional 300 points. Skill 2, Horn Impact. The Bull Ghost challenges the opponent with its 2 thick horns, causing a mixture of sharp and blunt physical damage, and knocking the target back. Skill 3, the Bull Ghost strode, towards Bai Pu, its thick nostrils spurting out strands of air, and it couldn't wait to raise the giant wooden stake. Chapter 93 Demonized Weapons. Wow! The Bull Ghost roared, and with his thick and deformed arms, he swung up the wooden stake and smashed it down towards Bai Pu like planting onions in dry land. This is the background of this world. The demons and ghosts have an instinctive bloodthirsty killing intention towards humans, and they are also extremely thirsty for human flesh and blood. However, before the Bull Ghost's wooden stake fell, there was a slight sound of a bell, and a demonized spider silk had already penetrated its chest. The demon spider woman launched a shameful sneak attack behind the Bull Ghost. Bai Pu turned over and sat up, and the spider silk on his body turned into a delicate spider web and scattered. The toughness of the demonized spider silk comes from the demon power injected by the demon spider woman. As long as the demon spider woman takes back the demon power, the flexibility of the spider silk will naturally be greatly reduced. Bai Pu shook his hand and took out the sharp long knife, and strode towards the Bull Ghost. The Bull Ghost encountered a surprise attack, roared, turned around and fled. Although this guy can't speak human language, he is not bad in intelligence and knows that he has encountered a trap. The blood-red eyes looked at the demon trader of the demon spider woman, almost spitting fire. If he escaped, he would definitely complain to the demon general. Cut this demon spider woman who hooked up with humans into pieces. However, the Bull Ghost is an elite demon with endurance as the main and strength as the secondary, and speed is its weakness. Bai Pu hurriedly took 2 steps and had already caught up with the Bull Ghost. But before Bai Pu attacked, the Bull Ghost suddenly turned around, and the huge wooden stake in his hand swept across with a whistling wind. The stake of the horseback. This guy is not as stupid as he seems, but he is rough but delicate. He knows that he can't outrun his opponent, so he has to injure an enemy first. Unfortunately, it ran into Bai Pu. As if he had predicted the future, Bai Pu's footsteps paused slightly, and the giant wooden stake swept past Bai Pu's nose. Your running posture betrayed you, Bai Pu said with a smile. In his abnormal observation ability, the Bull Ghost ran with a very large stride at the beginning, but the stride of each subsequent step was shortened. After 5 steps, the stride was 32 centimeters shorter than the beginning. This is obviously not the change that should occur when running for life. It can only mean that the Bull Ghost is adjusting his stride and planning a counterattack. After dodging the Bull Ghost's charged attack, Bai Pu will naturally not let the Bull Ghost's flaw go. Swish! The bright knife light slashed out, leaving a streak of blood on the bull ghost's ribs. The bull ghost roared angrily, and the giant wooden stake slammed into the ground, splashing a lot of rancid black water, and the ground seemed to be shaking. Combat skill, earthquake wave. This guy is indeed an elite with endurance. He first took a penetrating damage from the demon spider woman, and then took a knife from Bai Pu, but he was still alive and well. Bai Pu was slowed down by the earthquake wave and watched the bull ghost fleeing in big strides. But he was not nervous, because the demon spider woman had already stopped the bull ghost. Originally, the demon spider woman and the bull ghost were both level 3 elites, and their strengths were about the same, but after the demon spider woman became Bai Pu's servant, her attributes were strengthened by pure blood, and her expertise and skills were also increased by the title of Limit Breaker +1. Almost equivalent to level 4 elite, he beat the bull ghost madly. The bull ghost knew he was no match for him and continued to run away. Bai Pu followed slowly and leisurely. After the deceleration effect ended, the distance between the two did not exceed 15 meters. He jumped and slashed lightly on the top of the bull ghost's head, holding the knife with both hands and chopped it down. The bull ghost wanted to use a giant wooden stake to parry, but was shot in the arm by the spider silk of the demon spider woman, and was a moment slower. With a slight difference, Bai Pu's long knife had already chopped down, opening a tragic wound on the bull ghost's chest. The blue-black blood gushed out, and the white bones could be vaguely seen. In just 30 seconds, the bull ghost fell to the hands of Bai Pu and the demon spider woman. Bai Pu did not absorb the bull ghost as the second slave. After all, he only had one drop of pure blood left. And even if the pure blood continued to regenerate, Bai Pu could only have 2 temporary slaves at most, so he had to be very careful in choosing. Nia Gui and Bai Pu both have the same endurance specialty, so the only thing that can slow down a group of enemies with an earthquake wave is that it has some effect, so Bai Pu certainly doesn't think much of it. A blue treasure chest floated out and was opened by Bai Pu directly. Bai Pu only had one chance to draw, so he didn't expect to draw anything good. Unexpectedly, when the card was flipped, a shield with flashing blue light appeared. Nia Gui Demon Shield, B-level demonized weapon, with built-in skill, Demon Shield. Cannot be taken out of this world, Demon Shield. After use, you can summon 1. Nia Gui Demon Shield to surround yourself. Nia Gui Demon Shield can completely block attacks on its path, but it will consume demon power. It disappears when the demon power is exhausted, and lasts for up to 120 seconds. Tip: this is the first time you have obtained a demonized weapon in the Heart Demon, Oath World. Collect 5 identical demonized weapons, Nia Gui Demon Shield, and there is a chance to synthesize the golden equipment, Nia Gui Demon Shield. Warning: this demonized weapon recognizes you as its master and cannot be traded, otherwise it will cause the demon power to self-destruct. Golden equipment? Heroic level. Bai Pu was refreshed, but after reading the item's description and warning carefully, he discovered the pitfall of collecting 5 identical demonized weapons. Even if you use your toes to think about it, you will know that the drop rate of demonized weapons should not be high. Maybe you may not be able to get one even if you kill several demons. This thing also has a mandatory recognition of the owner and cannot be traded. Even for a big force, it is a delusion to accumulate and synthesize it. For a lone ranger, it is also difficult to synthesize golden equipment. The main feature is that it cannot be taken out of this world, which determines that you must accumulate 5 identical demonized weapons during a single spiritual world exploration. This requires killing dozens or hundreds of identical demons to be able to accumulate them. And even if you accumulate 5 identical demonized weapons, there is a chance that they will be successfully synthesized. The pitfalls of these 3 words are really hard to describe. Forget it, just think of it as a B-level item that can only be used in this exploration. Bai Pu waved his hand, signaling the spider woman to tie his hands with spider silk again, making him look like a human captive, and go to find the next predestined demon. Overnight, Bai Pu swept frantically. Under the leadership of the demon trader spider woman, he was as relaxed and comfortable in the dangerous outer area of the Black Swamp as if he was strolling in his own backyard. Bai Pu really felt the benefits of a high level. When taking the college entrance examination in the 3 Kingdoms, Red Cliff scene, almost every native was more than 2 levels higher than him, and the battle was extremely difficult. But here, facing demons of the same level or even lower than himself, Bai Pu was able to push all the way. However, as Bai Pu expected, The explosion rate of demonized weapons was not high. Most of the treasure chests dropped by elite demons such as cow ghosts and cat demons after death were just some demonized materials, and only in a few cases did they drop demonized weapons. The method of the demon spider woman disguising Bai Pu as a captive and inviting other demons to dine did not always work. Those cow ghosts and cat demons with special strength and agility could not see any flaws. However, there was a demon in the form of an octopus, with disgusting rotten eyeballs all over its body, who keenly sensed the abnormality of the demon spider woman and cast a magic spell to escape. Then, enhanced elite demons began to appear. The demons outside the Black Swamp acted in groups, led by enhanced elites above level 4, and even leaders. Bai Pu became cautious. He did not dare to choose targets at will, because these demon teams were closely related to each other. Once the battle lasted for a long time, other demon teams would come quickly. Bai Pu speculated on another terrible possibility. Why can these cruel and bloodthirsty demons obey orders and patrol the periphery of the Black Swamp in an orderly manner? There is only one reason, and there is a more powerful demon leading them. Maybe it is the rumored demon general, whose strength is comparable to that of the indigenous strongmen like Dongbo Changzi. This demon general should be lurking in the dark, waiting for Bai Pu to appear and give him a fatal blow. Please vote for me. Chapter 94, End the battle within 10 minutes. A giant bull demon wearing golden armor led a patrol team consisting of 2 cat demons, 2 flower demons, and an octopus demon, passing through the perception web of the demon spider woman. Bai Pu and the demon spider woman hid beside a waist-deep clump of water plants. A layer of light blue light curtain covered the body of one person and one demon. This is a mental shield, which can block the enemy's mental scanning of a large range. The demon that looks like an octopus is called Hundred Eyes Demon. It is a relatively rare demon with mental expertise and can perform a large-scale mental scan. Bai Pu's mental attribute is relatively low, but it is no problem to just use the mental protection to cover the 2 people. Although the mental scanning range of the Hundred Eyes Demon is large, it is not detailed. It can only roughly detect whether there are living creatures hiding around. With a deliberate plan, Bai Pu can still survive. But if the Hundred Eyes Demon suspects a certain place and concentrates his mental power to search carefully, Bai Pu will most likely be exposed under the suppression of the mental attribute. Get ready. After this, we will retreat. Bai Pu said in a deep voice. The spider girl at the side showed a look of horror on her beautiful and evil face. She couldn't help twisting her fat drums and wanted to retreat quietly. Stop. Bai Pu sighed and explained in a low voice, I know that the bull ghost wearing golden armor is one of the bull ghost leaders outside the Black Swamp. He is very powerful. I also know that there are other patrol teams around and they may come to support at any time. I also know that there is a demon general lurking outside. After all, Bai Pu retained the consciousness of the spider girl and did not turn her into a deformer. There are pros and cons to doing this. The good thing is that she can act as a demon traitor and seduce other demons to kill quickly. The bad thing is now, because of her instinctive fear of the leader-level demons and demon generals, her combat effectiveness will be affected. Proper mobilization before the war is necessary. Bai Pu continued, but the area outside the Black Swamp is very vast. As long as we act far enough, it will be impossible for the demon general to catch up. Hiss. The spider girl screamed in a low voice. Don't shout. Bai Pu said calmly, I know what you want to say. That's right, I don't have the exact location of the demon general. However, the special terrain of the Black Swamp determines that the routes that patrolling demons can take are limited and can be calculated. If the demon general really wants to ambush me, it must be hiding at the intersection of the 3 demon teams' routes. This is the farthest end of the patrol route of the Bull Ghost Commander, and the demon general is at least 20 kilometers away from here. Resolve the battle within 10 minutes. Bai Pu stood up and strode towards the Bull Ghost Commander. Bull Ghost Commander, Leader Level 3, Race, Demon Clan, Attributes, Strength 27, Agility 19, Endurance 50, Spirit 12, Skill 1, Strong Body. The Bull Ghost Commander gains an additional 700 health points, Skills 2-4. At the same time, in Bai Pu's field of vision, the shadow of a Chinese warrior in helmet and armor merged into his body. Spend 30 life points to fuse the gene fragments of Xiao's elite guard captain. Spirit World will prompt message, your strength is temporarily increased by 8 points. Your two-handed swordsmanship expertise is temporarily increased to advanced level 7. Limit breaker level +1. The elite guard captain of the CAO army is a level 6 elite and is one of the life sources of the strong that Bai Pu drew from the plain scene of Three Kingdoms, Red Cliff. The original elite indigenous people had a combat expertise that was one level higher. However, the upgrade from level 6 to level 7 is a critical threshold, and the gap is huge. Therefore, many level 6 indigenous elites still only have level 6 expertise. Bai Pu's original two-handed sword expertise was advanced level 2, and he temporarily ate an advanced level 6 expertise, so he was temporarily promoted to advanced level 6. Counting the limit breaker +1, it is a natural rise to the advanced level 7 level. It's just that because of the temporary promotion, the powerful bonus effects of the advanced level 7 cannot be drawn. However, it is enough to deal with these demons that are only level 3. The rotten eyeballs on the surface of the 100-eyed ghost suddenly turned red. Bai Pu could even see that the blue mental scanning field spreading on its body surface also turned red in an instant, obviously sending a warning signal to the demon team. Moo. The bull ghost leader roared to the sky, sharpened his hooves, and rushed towards Bai Pu with a huge barbed hammer. At the same time, an illusion appeared in front of Bai Pu's eyes. The bull ghost leader actually transformed into 4, charging towards Bai Pu at the same time. This is not the ability of the bull ghost leader, but the ability of the octopus-shaped 100-eyed ghost, illusion. Barring illusion. Bai Pu sneered. I didn't know your details at first, and you used your illusion spell to escape me once, and now you come again? Just looking at the sinking degree caused by the hooves of the 4 bull ghost leaders stepping on the ground is enough to explain the problem. The one with the most obvious sinking degree is the real body. Even though the other 3 bull ghost leaders ran earth-shaking and black water splashed, they were just illusions carefully created by the 100-eyed ghost. Bai Pu stepped forward. The hammer of a bull ghost leader hit Bai Pu's forehead with a loud bang, but it dissipated like light smoke. The other 2 bull ghost leaders, one swept across, and the other trampled, but Bai Pu did not dodge at all. These 2 are also illusions. The last one is the real bull ghost leader. It thought Bai Pu had been deceived by the illusion, and swung the huge hammer to smash at him. Bai Pu dodged the stick at the last moment and bumped his elbow. This elbow not only had Bai Pu's own strength, but also the forward force of the bull ghost commander. It was as if the bull ghost commander himself had hit Bai Pu's iron elbow, and staggered. Bai Pu passed by sideways, with his long sword across his waist. The blade cut a shallow wound on the bull ghost commander's abdomen, and then he backhanded another knife, drawing a bloody cross. This was the suppression brought by the powerful combat expertise. Bai Pu's moves and skills at this time were far better than the bull ghost commander. At the same time, a terrifying phantom of a scorpion lion appeared, integrated into Bai Pu's blade, and 3 layers of toxin effects were added. Blood flowers bloomed on the shoulder and back of the bull ghost commander. It let out an angry howl, and the dark yellow demonic power on its body flashed, and it had already jumped into the air. Bull ghost commander skill, high pressure trampling, activated. Bai Pu could have avoided this attack, but the 2 human-faced flower demons not far away activated their skills at the same time, and the long flower vines whipped like whips, blocking Bai Pu's escape path. Strangle Vine causes blunt damage and slows down the target, reducing the opponent's movement speed by 10. At this time, it is too late to launch Leap Slash and Charge. After all, these common displacement abilities require a pre-charged action before they can be used, which is different from rare displacement skills such as Blink. Bai Pu could only barely avoid the center of high-pressure trampling, and take the blow. Boom. With a dull sound, the bull demon commander's sturdy bull hoof slammed into the ground, and spider-web-like cracks appeared on the ground. Smelly black water splashed everywhere. The shockwave spread, and the impact force rushed over like a high wall. This is the second stage of high-pressure trampling, S damage. Bai Pu held his long sword in reverse, crossed his arms, and blocked it. His feet retreated 3 steps backwards, actively removing most of the power of the shock wave, but he also suffered more than 60 points of shockwave damage, and his movement speed was greatly reduced. After the bull demon commander's high-pressure trampling, he immediately raised his warhammer to charge, and the dark yellow demonic light flashed again, and he struck down brazenly. Chapter 95 Gravity Ball. Earth Splitting. The leader of the bull demon strikes the earth, tears it apart, and causes heavy damage and knockback to enemies within the linear range. A bloody light flashed on Bai Pu's body. He squatted slightly in advance and suddenly jumped up. This is the benefit of predicting in advance. Bai Pu not only dodged this move, earth-splitting, but also crossed many distances and rushed directly to the octopus-like 100-AD ghost. The combat power of this 100-AD ghost itself is average, but it is proficient in illusion and can create all kinds of illusions. The interference caused is really disgusting. Although Bai Pu has a perverted observation ability that can quickly see through the true and false of illusions, in the ever-changing battlefield, the reaction time that lags behind for a moment is still very fatal. More importantly, Bai Pu feels that this 100-AD ghost does not understand the true meaning of illusion at all. The highest realm of illusion is not to create a few illusions of friendly forces so that the enemy can't tell the true from the false. It is to create a small visual deviation. Let the enemy's determined attacks fail repeatedly, and the resulting stiffness of the moves will be a fatal flaw. A leaping slash landed in front of the 100-AD ghost. The sharp long sword caused a bloody laceration, and the foul-smelling green juice splashed out of the 100-AD ghost's body. The 100-AD ghost suddenly opened its mouth hidden under its tentacles, and the mouth full of sharp teeth emitted a silent scream. Where the silent scream spread, black water rolled out, and the rotten water plants were rolled up and scattered all over the sky. This scream was an infrasound wave that could not be heard by human ears. It was powerful and hidden. You are affected by the skill of the 100-eyed ghost, Psychic Scream, which will cause a fear effect that lasts for 1.8 seconds. Resisted for 1.2 seconds, Bai Pu felt a chill in his heart, and his body ran aimlessly in place. If it were in the game, 1.8 seconds of fear would be very long. But in a real battle, it was only a short time that could not be breathed. It could be said to be quite short. The two human-faced flower demons opened their rosy lips and sprayed out wisps of dark green mist. These dark green mists condensed but did not disperse. Around Bai Pu, they gathered into two dark green large-scale poisonous miasma. This is the skill of the human-faced flower demon, Drunken Flower Poisonous Miasma. Immediately after the human-faced flower demons had turned, the petals around it, which seemed like saw teeth, shot out and stabbed Bai Pu like a flying knife. At the same time, two snake-tailed cat demons also pounced over. Their tails were very strange. They were actually two poisonous snakes with fine teeth. As soon as they twisted their bodies, the two poisonous snake tails bit on Bai Pu's arms. This also successfully made Bai Pu escape from the state of fear. However, Bai Pu's situation at this time was obviously very dangerous. The Drunken Flower Poisonous Miasma could stack the number of toxins, and the snake-tailed cat demon snake-tail bite would inject another toxin. The two toxins are not only highly toxic, but also have a deceleration effect. If it were an ordinary person, I'm afraid they would have died of poison before escaping the poisonous miasma area. When the demon spider woman saw her master in danger, the dominance of her bloodline overwhelmed her fear of the upper demons. She took the initiative to appear and shot out a demonized spider silk, entangling the bull ghost commander. The bull ghost commander sneered. This expression was somewhat weird on the bull head. Looking at the demon spider woman, he had recognized this traitor who betrayed the demon camp. The bull ghost commander broke the spider silk with a force, dragged the giant hammer and ran with big strides, obviously determined to kill the demon spider woman first. At least the demon spider woman can't be allowed to support that human. Otherwise, once the spider silk is spit out, it will drag that human out of the poisonous miasma. Wouldn't it be a waste of time? Bai Pu, who was in the poisonous miasma area, the first thing he did after escaping from the state of fear was to start adaptive evolution, inactivate blood. The duration of the toxin is shortened by half, and the toxin damage is reduced by 50%. The original soul-stirring and bone-eroding poison was reduced by half, and the momentum of the attack suddenly stagnated. Bai Pu exhaled and shouted, his muscles bulging, and he suddenly rushed towards the 100-eyes ghost not far away. Iron Spike Shoulder Guard, additional skill, charge, activated. The 100-eyes ghost had just pulled away, probably because he didn't expect Bai Pu to have a second stage of charge skill. Seeing Bai Pu dragging two cat demons like a tank, its mind scream was in a cooling state, and it could only scream and activate the last skill, Demon Energy Ray. The 8 tentacles of the 100-eyes ghost gathered at the tips, and the 8 eyeballs were almost squeezed together, and a colorful energy line was shot out at the same time. However, Bai Pu did a second thing during the collision. He shook his hand and threw his long sword. The long sword was wrapped in blood-colored energy, whistling out, and directly hit the 100-eyes ghost, breaking the demon energy ray of the big octopus. Immediately afterwards, The long sword spun and fell into Bai Pu's hand, and Bai Pu had already rushed in front of the 100 Eyes ghost. On Bai Pu's shoulders, blood-colored runes burned inch by inch, and the professional skill, Flesh and Blood Armor, was activated. Professional skills are upgraded with professional level. Bai Pu's level is already level 3, and his professional skill Flesh Armor has also been upgraded to level 3. In addition, he enjoys the +1 level effect of Limit Breaker, and has activated a level 4 special effect in advance. Flesh Armor: you can engrave flesh mantras on heavy armor equipment to absorb the flesh energy of surrounding enemies to strengthen your defense. Deal 4-9 points of dark attribute magic damage to affected enemies every second, and cause you to continuously gain an equal amount of shield value for 120 seconds. The upper limit of shield is 52 points. Flesh Armor level 4 special effect, Gravity Ball: when you gain a shield based on Flesh Armor, you will cause a gravity pull effect on surrounding enemies. The effect of gravity pull is equivalent to 13 points of movement speed. Note, the movement speed of gravity pull is based on 50% of Bai Pu's endurance attribute. At that time, Bai Pu chose this special effect at a glance from the 7 level 4 special effects. The reason is simple. Flesh and Blood Armor is too weak to retain people. During the activation period, enemies with a little wisdom will choose to evacuate first and wait until the duration ends. Now with the special effect of Gravity Ball, enemies who enter the range of Bai Pu's Flesh and Blood Armor will be involuntarily pulled towards Bai Pu, and the pulling speed is equivalent to the movement speed brought by 13 points of agility. In other words, enemies who intend to escape from Bai Pu will suffer a 13-point movement speed penalty. For those enemies who are not good at agility and below level 3, they may not have 13 points of movement speed. Bai Pu is a ready-made example. It wants to slide its tentacles to escape, but its movement speed is not even 13 points, so the 8 tentacles have a weird spacewalk effect. It is obviously desperately trying to escape, but its body involuntarily moves towards Bai Pu and slowly pulls closer. The shadow of a giant crocodile appeared behind Bai Pu for a moment. Bai Pu activates Giant Crocodile's Evil Eye, and the critical hit value soars by 30 points. With his two-handed swordsmanship expertise of the advanced level 7, he hit a critical hit with one strike. 86. This strike almost split the octopus head of Bai Pu in half, and the white brains were all spilled out. Bai Pu screamed in pain. There were only 2 layers of cartilage left on its head. The continuous bleeding damage number exceeded 20 points every time, because it was not bleeding blood, but brains. Seeing that Bai Pu was severely injured and lost its fighting power, Bai Pu directly stretched out his finger and poked it into its forehead. Pure blood was injected, and the pure blood control was activated. You controlled Bai Pu to become your slave. Followed by a series of questions as usual. Bai Pu chose option 1 this time. Completely destroyed Bai Pu's bloodthirstiness for flesh and blood, and transformed it into a deformed slave. Bai Pu, who became a deformed, had an almost split head, and the flesh and blood tissues proliferated rapidly, and soon formed 2 weird tumors in front and behind the forehead. The bleeding stopped, but its head looked even more bizarre and ferocious than before. Based on the hidden characteristics of Limit Breaker, Bai Pu also had a bonus of +1 to all feats and skill levels. Other feats and skills were fine, but the +1 to meditation feat and +1 to the main skill, illusion, were an absolute leap forward, because these 2 had reached level 4. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96: Spiritual Connection. Bai Pu took a quick look and quickly selected the special effects of the 2. Advanced Meditation Level 4 Special Effect, Mental Connection. Connect with the mental power of friendly forces, share combat information and vision, and can telepathically communicate. Many awakened people with mental expertise will choose this special effect when they reach Advanced Meditation Level 4. What is the concept of mental connection? It is equivalent to barrier-free encrypted communication, plus perspective. Its effect is not measured by numbers. Illusion Level 4 Special Effect, Multiple Illusions. Allow your illusion to be launched on multiple targets at the same time. Additional 2 targets. The reason for choosing the multiple illusion special effect is that the effect of illusion on elite enemies is already sufficient, and the range of the casting target can be further expanded. Of course, based on the suppression of the template, the illusion will be greatly resisted when it is cast on enemies with a leader level template, and the effect can only be said to be better than nothing. When Bai Pu severely injured and controlled the 100 Eyes ghost, the two cat demons roared and bit Bai Pu. But Bai Pu had already switched to heretic skin, and basically ignored the damage from their claws and fangs. The damage caused by these two guys was only slightly higher than the growth rate of Bai Pu's shield value. But Bai Pu was a tank with a HP of 620 points and a torso armor value of nearly 40 points. Not to mention that the white suit, blood ring standard plate armor, on his body also had a passive characteristic of fixedly reducing 5 points of physical damage, so he had no pressure to bear this little damage. While the 100 Eyes ghost was controlled, the two cat demons seemed to have sensed the crisis. The hair on their backs exploded, and they retreated while screaming. Bai Pu sneered, "You just scratched me. It was very enjoyable, right? Want to leave? It's too late. The shield of the flesh and blood armor is still there, and the traction effect of the gravity ball continues to take effect." The two cat demons wanted to get away from Bai Pu, but their speed was reduced by 13 points, which was reduced by nearly half. Fortunately, they are demons with agility specialties, otherwise the wonder of the 100 Eyes ghost's spacewalk would be repeated. Bai Pu caught up with the severely slowed cat demon in a few steps and slashed with his long sword. The two cat demons had no choice but to turn around and fight back. Under the influence of the gravity ball, they could not escape even if they continued to flee, and could only be chased and slashed to death by Bai Pu's sword. Two human-faced flower demons also moved their vines to rush over. At this time, the battlefield was divided into two parts. On one side, Bai Pu fought against 4 elite demons, and on the other side, the demon spider woman versus the bull demon commander. With Bai Pu's limit breaker bonus and pure blood defense attribute bonus, although the demon spider woman's strength is still inferior to the bull demon commander, she is agile and adopts guerrilla tactics to fight and escape. For a while, the bull demon commander couldn't do anything with her. The first place to decide the outcome was the battlefield where Bai Pu was. Bai Pu, who was at full firepower, played an amazing role with his two-handed swordsmanship expertise of the advanced level 7. His longsword often attacked at unexpected angles, either slashing or stabbing, or chopping or slicing, killing the two snake-tailed cat demons and making them scream in pain, and the number of poisoning layers continued to accumulate. The long-range blade petals of the two human-faced flower demons, however, repeatedly missed. The reason was simple: Bai Pu's second demon servant, the deformed Baimurge, joined the battle. First of all, there was a mental connection. Baimurge and Bai Pu were connected mentally, and cast spells under Bai Pu's instructions throughout the process. Its illusion ability was immediately used by Bai Pu in the most disgusting place, a small degree of visual dislocation. The long-range blade petals of the human-faced flower demon were originally extremely accurate, but under the influence of visual dislocation, the position of Bai Pu in the sight was half a body away from the actual position. This caused their blade petals to not only fail to hit Bai Pu, but also often accidentally injure their companions. At first, Baimurge was not used to the special effects of multiple illusions. After gradually getting used to it, Bai Pu ordered it to increase the target of the illusion and circle one of the yellow-spotted cat demons. The result of being affected by illusions from melee enemies is even more terrible. In the eyes of the yellow-spotted cat demon, Bai Pu's knife whistled at it. It relied on its agility to dodge to the side, but it didn't know that the real Bai Pu was half a body away to the side. It looked like the yellow-spotted cat demon took the initiative to jump under the blade. Blood was boiling, and a small part of the yellow-spotted cat demon's body was cut off with skin and bones. In the fight, its original health was almost worn out by the long sword slash, flesh and blood spells, and poison effects. When it hit this sword, it was immediately chopped to death. The other black-striped cat demon was unable to support itself, and was also killed by Bai Pu's 3 or 2 swords. At this time, Bai Pu had 37 points of strength, coupled with a sharp long sword with high attack power, and really played the style of a power warrior. Seeing his demons being killed one after another, the bull ghost commander was impatient and no longer wanted to fight with the spider woman. Relying on its thick skin and flesh, it endured 2 spider silk spittings from the spider woman and rammed to the 2 human-faced flower demons, swinging its giant hammer. Two battlefields cooperated in one. Bai Pu plus Bai Mu plus the Spider Woman vs. Bull Ghost Commander plus two human-faced flower demons. On paper, the two sides are about the same strength, and Bai Pu is even weaker. But in reality, the situation is reversed. Bai Mu's illusion can affect the Bull Ghost Commander and the two human-faced flower demons at the same time, causing these three demons to have strong strength, but their attacks can only hit the air. Not only did they fail to hit their opponents, but they also put themselves in a situation where they were stiff and passively beaten. The Bull Ghost Commander was better. After all, he was a demon with a leader template and had a certain resistance to the Bai Mu's illusion. The two flower demons were not so good. The two major skills, Blade Petal and Strangling Vine, both required accurate hits to take effect. That was equivalent to wasting more than half of his strength. The Bull Ghost Commander was not a fool. Seeing that he could not hit his opponent and had a visual misalignment, he changed his attack method to a sweeping attack, and launched a large-scale attack. Just like a blind man waving a cane to explore the road, once he found the enemy's position, he immediately launched a set of violent attacks. The demon Spider Woman was careless for a moment, and was detected by the Bull Ghost Commander's sweeping test of the exact position. Then the giant hammer swung over, and a set of airtight dance. The hammer shadow wrapped her whole body. Frenzy, launch 6 consecutive attacks at a very high speed against the enemy in the melee range in front of you, each attack causing 50% of the full damage. Enemies hit by the chaos will fall into a state of stiffness until the chaos ends. With a demon Spider Woman's small body, this set of chaos will definitely kill her completely. But Bai Pu was like a wall, blocking the demon Spider Woman. Adaptive evolution, in the state of fluid skeleton, the damage to blunt attacks is reduced by 50%. Although he was paralyzed by the chaos and unable to defend or fight back, Bai Pu was not panicked at all, because a layer of blood-red shield had been opened on his body. The damage absorption of the unstable shield, level 3, was as high as 109 points. When the chaos ended, Bai Pu's shield value was still residual. The demon Spider Woman escaped from death, and her eyes looked at Bai Pu with a trace of inexplicable gratitude. This kind of leader who stood in front of him and stood still like a rock was so reassuring. There are still 6 minutes. Bai Pu interrupted the demon Spider Woman's wild thoughts with one sentence: solve the battle as soon as possible, you go kill the two flower demons. I will let the Hundred Eyes Ghost cooperate with you with all my strength. Under Bai Pu's order, the Hundred Eyes Ghost opened the illusion ability to the maximum and enveloped the two flower demons. After the demon Spider Woman approached, the spider legs stabbed at high speed to form a lot of phantoms, which instantly severely injured the first flower demon. On Bai Pu's side, he no longer let the Hundred Eyes Ghost affect the senses of the Ox Demon Commander. Because it was not necessary. Advanced level 7 two-handed swordsmanship, fighting against a level 3 Bull Ghost leader. This is a complete crushing of combat skills. Coupled with Bai Pu's advanced level 4 combat expertise, in a one-on-one situation, the Bull Ghost leader can't even touch Bai Pu. Chapter 97, Powerful Armor. The Bull Demon Commander was panting heavily, with wisps of white mist coming out of his huge nostrils. He clearly felt that the human in front of him was weaker than him, but every time he swung his hammer, the opponent dodged it with a very small range of motion. Dodging so easily meant that there was a lot of room for counterattacks. Every time the sharp long sword passed through his body, it was full of power, and it hit his weak defenses many times, causing critical damage. What was even more terrifying was that the long sword was also quenched with a strong toxin. His vitality was slowly and steadily draining away. The strong body that he was proud of was completely useless in the face of the toxin. Scorpion Tail Lion's Sting +4 special effect, Toxin Purification, passive. The Scorpion Tail Lion's toxin ignores the opponent's resistance and can cause full damage. The additional priority of this effect is 3. The Bull Demon Commander's eyes were blurred, and the figure of the hateful human turned into 2, then 3. It knew that this was not an illusion of the traitor Bai Pu, but an illusion caused by its own excessive blood loss and severe loss of vitality. Death, so close. The Bull Ghost leader roared in a muffled voice, suddenly raised his bull hoof high, and launched a small-scale trampling. Taking advantage of Bai Pu's slowdown, the Bull Ghost leader suddenly lowered his head, and two extremely thick bull horns, at the speed of lightning, hit Bai Pu's chest. Bullhorn collision. The next step is to lift Bai Pu high up, and the infusion of demonic power will make Bai Pu in an undefended paralyzed state, and then connect with a bull ghost leader's proud skill, cracking the ground. This is the bull ghost leader's last counterattack. However, this counterattack is also in vain. Bai Pu slightly turned sideways and avoided the tip of the bullhorn by a millimeter. He held the knife with both hands and slashed it, just hitting the bull ghost leader's nose. This knife is so clever that it looks like the bull ghost leader took the initiative to send his nose to Bai Pu's knife. The damage of this attack was also very terrifying, because it combined the power and speed of the bull ghost commander's bullhorn strike, as well as the power and speed of Bai Pu's knife. 158. The bull ghost commander's entire nose was cut off by this knife, and blood gushed out. It wanted to howl wildly, but its mouth was also split open, and it even lost the ability to scream in pain. Bai Pu stepped forward and stabbed the bull ghost commander's throat with a knife. The bull ghost commander's two bull eyes suddenly widened, and then the blood-red light in his eyes slowly dissipated. Bai Pu reached out and grabbed the golden treasure chest dropped by the bull ghost commander. The battle between the demon spider woman and the human-faced flower demon was also coming to an end. For a plant-based demon like the human-faced flower demon, when the ultimate move, drunken flower poison miasma, is cooling down, being approached by the highly agile demon spider woman is basically a dead end. Not to mention, there is also the traitor Bai Pu ghost not far away, using illusions to interfere with the human-faced flower demon. The blade and strangled vine skills of the two flower demons also lost their effects. Bai Pu did not have time to open the treasure chest, so he hurried to help the demon spider woman kill the two flower demons. One of them dropped a blue treasure chest, which Bai Pu grabbed, and then quickly took the demon spider woman away from the crime scene. Through the perception of the Hundred Eyes ghost, there was a strong demonic aura in the distance, howling like a typhoon. It is obvious that it must be a lurking demon general. Facing such a demon who can rival Dongbo Changzi, Bai Pu had no intention of confronting it, not to mention that he was injured and exhausted now. Hanging Mountain, the demon spider woman's nest. This is a high, dry and ventilated cave, and the fishy smell is relatively light. There are many human bones in the cave, which are the remains of the past humans killed by the demon spider woman. The demon spider woman pulled the spider's legs and helped Bai Pu clean up an area. Bai Pu sat cross-legged, and 4 treasure chests appeared in front of him. A golden treasure chest was dropped by the leader of the bull demons wearing golden armor. 3 blue treasure chests were dropped by the human-faced flower demon and the snake-tailed cat demon. Bai Pu opened the 3 blue treasure chests first and obtained about 900 psychic points. Each treasure chest can only be drawn once, and there is no option to exclude undervalued cards. From the treasure chest of the human-faced flower demon, a scroll of Stranglehold Vine was drawn, which is a sea-level item that can summon 2 thick thorny vines to lash out at the opponent, causing damage and slowing down the opponent. It is worth mentioning that Stranglehold Vine can be taken out of this plane. From the treasure chests of the 2 snake-tailed cat demons, a dagger-shaped item and a yellow bell were drawn. Cat Demon Claw, B-level demonized weapon. Contains skill, Vicious Claw. Cannot be taken out of this world, Venomous Claw. After use, you can summon 1 Demon Power Cat Claw to surround yourself. The Demon Power Claw will automatically launch random claw attacks on enemies within melee range, adding poison damage. It disappears when the demon power is exhausted, and lasts for up to 120 seconds. Warning: this demonized weapon recognizes you as its master, and cannot be traded, otherwise it will cause the demon power to self-destruct. This demonized weapon, Cat Demon Claw, is obviously the same as Ox Demon Shield, and can be synthesized into golden equipment with similar equipment. But you have to collect the same 4 Cat Demon Claws to start the synthesis. Now killing some peripheral demons will provoke the leader-level demons to lead the patrol, and there are even lurking calculations of demon generals. If you continue to kill, the consequences can be imagined. Maybe the demon lord of the Black Swamp, the Black Emperor, will have a small universe explosion, break free from the restrictions and come in person. If the difficulty of collecting a demonized weapon is 2, then collecting 5 identical demonized weapons is definitely not 10 points, which is 5 2s added together, but multiplied, that is, 2 2 2 2 2 equals 32. Therefore, this Cat Demon Claw can only be regarded as a special prop, and its power is between C-level props and B-level props. Bai Pu looked at the yellow bell again and was disappointed to find that it was a piece of junk. He sold it to the spirit world and earned about 100 spiritual energy points. The highlight came. Bai Pu reached out and pressed on the golden treasure chest of the Bull Ghost Commander. You have obtained spiritual energy points. 2,988 points. Based on the difficulty of your battle, you have obtained 2 opportunities to draw loot cards. In the treasure chest, golden light turned, and 30 golden cards appeared in front of Bai Pu. Based on your evaluation of this battle, you have obtained a privilege, exclude 15 undervalued cards. Do you want to exclude? Bai Pu chose to exclude. Suddenly, the number of cards on the field was reduced to 15. Bai Pu directly clicked on the first and last cards. The first card turned over, and between the flashing golden light, a pattern of heavy armor suddenly appeared. You have obtained golden equipment, strong attack armor. Chapter 98 Clues to the demonic weapon. Finally, the golden equipment is out. It is the most needed upper armor at present. Bai Pu suppressed his surprise and excitement and carefully checked the attributes of strong strike armor. Strong strike armor, encapsulated, quality, hero, gold, equipment location, upper armor, equipment requirements, basic strength 15, basic endurance 15, attributes, body armor plus 30, fixed reduction of 10 points of physical damage, endurance plus 7, additional skill 1, strengthen, passive, increases the wearer's resistance to force displacement effects such as knockback and knockback. This effect is calculated in superposition with other similar effects. Additional skill 2, evil spirit, active skill, after activation, awakens the fierce spirit of the Bull Ghost Commander, immediately removes the control effect, and adds 3 points of priority. Cooling time 12 hours. Durability 38/40. Description: the armor forged with a golden stone of the red gold mountain and the blood of demons is filled with a fierce breath. This armor is golden in color, with blood red lines, and 2 golden horns extending from the neck to the chest, exuding a fierce smell. Fortunately, Bai Pu invested 7 points of free attributes from the college entrance examination into strength in advance, otherwise his basic strength would not be enough to equip this powerful armor. Bai Pu immediately replaced the blood ring standard plate armor, white equipment, on his body. His endurance increased to 33 points, his health increased to 760 points, and the armor value of the torso was as high as 63 points, with a fixed reduction of 10 points of physical damage. Tank increased greatly. The 2 skills of strike armor are also quite practical. Especially the second skill, evil spirit, the priority of releasing control is as high as 6 points. The ability to release control is most useful in the battle of awakened people, and it is basically impossible for low-level awakened people to have control skills with a priority of more than 6 points. The first card has made Bai Pu satisfied with the benefits of this golden treasure chest. He doesn't mind even if the second card is a sundry item. However, Bai Pu's good luck has not run out. After the second golden card was turned over, a ferocious bull-headed demon head pattern appeared. You have obtained the quest item, Demon Leader's Skull. Demon Leader's Skull, quest item. On this blood-stained head, the 2 fierce blood eyes are still wide open, revealing endless anger and bloodthirsty killing intent. Bai Pu reached out to take the head, and soon received a prompt from the spirit world. You have opened the side quest 1, Demon Leader's Skull. Side quest 1, Demon Leader's Skull, quest objective, increase the demon power value of the Demon Leader's Skull. Current demon power value, 300 points, second level. Quest difficulty, unknown, quest deadline, equivalent to your remaining stay in this world. Task reward, demonic ghost equipment, optional forms, hammer, shield, armor, failure penalty, none. Hint: the demonic ghost leader's skull is only in the heart demon world, and is dropped by demons above the leader level with a very low probability. You can feed items containing demonic power to the demonic ghost leader's skull to increase its demonic power value. When you leave this world, the demonic ghost leader's skull will become a demonic ghost equipment of the corresponding rank, depending on the strength of the demonic power value. Demonic ghosts turning into weapons is actually a feature of the heart demon world. After defeating powerful demonic ghosts, the strong men of the guardian camp can turn the defeated demonic ghosts into weapons. Warriors who hold demonic ghost weapons are called ghost warriors. For example, Dongbo Changzi, according to the information, has a demonic ghost weapon called Peacock Feather, which is solidified from a strengthened leader-level demon ghost, Thousand-Eyed Peacock. The demonic ghost weapons have residual demonic nature, and the relationship between them and the ghost warriors is both coexistence and struggle. Once the ghost warrior's mind is lost and he cannot bear the influence of the demonic nature of the demon weapon, the latter will take over the ghost warrior's mind and turn him into a terrible demon. From this point of view, the demon equipment is the demon in the heart of the ghost warriors in the guard camp. What interests Bai Pu is, can the demon equipment really be taken out of this world? According to the rules of the spirit world, the task rewards can be taken out 100%. But the demonic nature remains on the demon weapon. If the awakened person loses control and becomes a demon after taking it out, isn't it another kind of demon invasion? The Superstar Alliance has been cultivating the demon world for so long, and has never seen demons appear in the real world, which means that there must be some way to help the awakened avoid the demonic nature of the demon weapon. Perhaps it is related to the acquisition process. If Bai Pu wants to obtain the demon weapon, he needs to get the head of the demon leader with a very small probability of dropping, and then feed it with items containing demon power to slowly cultivate it. If the indigenous strongman wants to obtain the demon weapon, he has a chance to get it as long as he defeats a demon one-on-one. Bai Pu thought for a moment, and threw the B-level demonized weapon, Cat Demon Claw, to the demon leader's head. The ferocious bullhead's eyes flashed blood, opened its mouth, bit the Cat Demon Claw, and chewed it hard. The teeth were unbelievably good. The demon leader had chewed the Cat Demon Claw into pieces and swallowed it. When Bai Pu checked again, the demon power value on it had become 330 points, second level. A B-level demon weapon provided 30 points of demon power. Bai Pu still had 2 Bull Ghost Demon Shield left. He thought carefully and decided to keep the Bull Ghost Demon Shield, and stopped feeding it for the time being. After putting away the demon leader's head, Bai Pu stood up, left an order to the 100 Eyes Ghost and the demon spider girl, and went straight back to Wangbi City. This time, at the city gate, the 2 guards looked at Bai Pu with awe, and no longer wanted to ask for the city entrance fee. Because Bai Pu killed a large number of elite demons, including a leader-level demon leader, his reputation in the Guardian camp has already reached the respect level. Although Bai Pu has not yet publicized his achievements and his reputation is hidden, the natives of the Guardian camp have a potential change in their perception of him. Bai Pu proudly entered the city, and the guards whispered behind him, such as the samurai just now is so majestic and respectable. Back in the city, Bai Pu went to the beaming dojo and found Dongbo Changzi. The long-haired blue-shirted swordsman was practicing swordsmanship. He used an ordinary sword, and when he swung it casually, the tip of the sword drew a circular arc trajectory. That was the trajectory of the wind. As Dongbo Changzi moved, the wind in the yard seemed to respond quietly, gathering into a whirlwind force, circling around Dongbo Changzi. Dongbo Changzi's figure was like the wind an illusion, looking ahead and suddenly behind, making it impossible for people to catch it. Bai Pu looked so scary from the perspective of an outsider. It is conceivable that if he really faced this wind dancer, how much pressure he would feel. It is impossible to resist the attack of the all-pervasive wind. The wind told me a piece of news. Dongbo Changzi put away his sword and looked at Bai Pu with a smile. You are back, and you have made great contributions. Bai Pu handed over a piece of animal skin and coughed twice. This is a map of the outer periphery of the Black Swamp. It contains the information about the demons I found out. Bai Pu never mentioned the fact that he killed a large number of demons. Dongbo Changzi took the animal skin map, flipped through it, and showed a hint of surprise on his face. Your map is very detailed. It must have taken a lot of effort. Bai Pu shook his head and said, nothing. Seeing that Bai Pu was not arrogant, Dongbo Changzi appreciated him even more. The will of the spirit world prompted a message. Dongbo Changzi's favorability towards you has increased. The current favorability level, acquaintance, 400/1000. Actually, Bai Pu didn't spend much time. With the evil traitor Spider Woman, he could get any detailed map he wanted. But in order not to arouse suspicion, Bai Pu gave a relatively simple map of the periphery. Side quest, completed the exploration of the Black Swamp. You have obtained 320 points of merit for the Guardian faction. Current accumulated merit points, 360 points. Since you have not obtained the Oath Seal, the Guardian faction merit exchange function has not been enabled, so you cannot exchange merits. Chapter 99 Dongbo Changzi's Guidance. This shows the importance of the Oath Seal. Without it, the strong men in the guarding camp will always be wary of you and will not even open the exchange of merits. However, Bai Pu was not in a hurry. He sat opposite Dongbo Changzi, drinking tea and chatting. Dongbo Changzi has traveled all over the world and has a broad vision. He can tell all kinds of anecdotes and stories, which makes people unable to help listening. Bai Pu is not very good at chatting, but he knows how to listen and will not deliberately show off his own opinions. The two of them talked and listened, and the atmosphere was harmonious. Of course, Bai Pu's appearance caught the eye of Dongbo Changzi, who is obsessed with appearance, and this is the most important thing. If it were the awakened Yao Guang who also had the acquaintance favorability, he would definitely not get this treatment. Dongbo Changzi said, the owner of Bimingchun is planning a plan to eliminate the demons outside the Black Swamp. Speaking of which, the demons are too arrogant. They actually sneaked into Wangbi City and kidnapped and killed Master Biming Tiayu. It's time to teach them a lesson. Will Lord Dongbo go with us? Bai Pu asked. Dongbo Changzi shook his head and said, I don't mind going with you. But the owner of Bimingchun didn't invite me, so I can't recommend myself. Bai Pu thought about it and understood that Bimingchun lost face because the Beaming Dojo was invaded by demons. This revenge was actually for the dignity of the Beaming family and to wash away the stain. If Dongbo Changzi was invited, with the strength of this wind dancer, I'm afraid he would steal the limelight of the entire revenge battle. Dongbo Changzi should have thought of this, so he didn't recommend himself. As the young patriarch of the Dongbo family, he was a famous swordsman at a young age, so he was naturally arrogant. At this time, the atmosphere was harmonious, and Bai Pu took the opportunity to speak and continue to dig out the task. Although I haven't obtained the Oath Curse seal yet, I really want to do my part for the Guardians. You want me to recommend you to join the Bimingchun demon hunting team? Dongbo Changzi smiled and said, you have worked hard to come back, shouldn't you take a good rest? Bai Pu certainly had to express his attitude, saying that he couldn't rest until he got rid of the demons in the world. At this moment, a figure hurried over and shouted as soon as they met, Master Dongbo. This person does not have the Oath Curse seal, and he must not be allowed to join the demon hunting team. Dongbo Changzi raised his eyes and glanced over, frowning slightly. This figure, with a head as big as a pumpkin and limbs as thin as reed sticks, was the Superstar Alliance Awakener Yao Guang. Bai Pu raised his sword eyebrows and shouted angrily, I have shed blood for the Guardians and I have made contributions to the demon hunting team. Why can't I join? Yao Guang had already seen the animal skin map and sneered, how important do you think your map is? The Guardians send people into the Black Swamp every month, and the elders of my family have taken on more than one exploration mission. The elders mentioned by Yao Guang were obviously the awakened masters of the Superstar Alliance. Now those awakened masters can no longer enter the world of Heart Demon, Oath, due to level restrictions. They enter a higher level world area, such as the Heart Demon, Great Wild River area or the Heart Demon, Black Sky Descends area. These areas all belong to the Heart Demon world, but they are far away from each other and generally do not communicate with each other. The indigenous strongmen, such as Dongbo Changzi, can have plenty of time to travel, but the awakened ones have precious time in the spirit world and wish there were 25 hours in a day. How can they go from the low-level area to the high-level area? The awakened masters of the Superstar Alliance who have operated in the Heart Demon, Oath, world often pass on good relationships through things such as inheritance tokens before entering higher areas. Dongbo Changzi raised his hand to stop the angry Bai Pu, shook his head and said, sorry, I can't recommend someone without the Oath Curse to join the Beaming family's demon hunting team. Even if I recommend it, there is a high possibility that Bimingchun will refuse it. Yao Guang showed a smug sneer. In his opinion, Bai Pu spent so much energy to explore the map, but in the end he could not participate in the demon hunting war between the Beaming family and the Black Swamp. It was like doing enough foreplay, but he could not experience the climax of the plot. Of course, he suffered a great loss. Bai Pu sighed lightly, looked at Yu Guang, and said sincerely, I'm sorry, I know you are considering the safety of the Guardians, and you don't mean to target me. Yu Guang felt something was wrong. I was targeting you, why are you apologizing to me? His eyes quickly glanced at Dongbo Changzi, and then he realized that Bai Pu was trying to improve Dongbo Changzi's favorability. Obviously, both of them were acquaintances of Dongbo Changzi. In the case of a disagreement between them, Dongbo Changzi would definitely have a good impression of the person who is the first to tolerate him. Yu Guang hurriedly said, I was also excited for a moment, don't take it to heart. Bai Pu said, My fighting skills can only be rapidly improved in actual combat with demons. That's why I am so eager to join the battle of the demon hunting team. It's a pity that there is no such opportunity. Dongbo Changzi frowned slightly and said, "Who said that if you don't join the demon hunting team, there will be no opportunity to improve your strength?" Yu Guang felt something was wrong. Dongbo Changzi looked at Bai Pu and said, "It just so happens that I won't leave Wangbi City these few days. How about you stay here and practice swordsmanship with me?" Bai Pu smiled and said, "I really want to, but I didn't dare to ask." Yu Guang was almost angry to the point of having a heart attack. He immediately understood Bai Pu's calculations. After working hard to complete the task of exploring the Black Swamp, he came to ask Dongbo Changzi for a recommendation to join the demon hunting team. This was all superficial. Bai Pu actually knew very well that Dongbo Changzi would not give a recommendation, because there was a vague competitive relationship between the Dongbo family and the Bai Ming family, and Dongbo Changzi would never do such a thing to give others a handle. Especially since he was the young patriarch, his every word and action represented the reputation of the Dongbo family. If someone spread rumors like the young patriarch of the Dongbo family despised the oath curse seal, it would be really fatal. What Bai Pu was waiting for was Dongbo Changzi's refusal. After the refusal, Dongbo Changzi must have felt embarrassed. After all, he was the one who issued the task of exploring the Black Swamp to Bai Pu. Now that the main part of the play had come, he didn't let Bai Pu appear. So Dongbo Changzi will definitely make compensation. Bai Pu expressed the idea of wanting to improve his fighting skills, which was within Dongbo Changzi's ability with just a little effort. The wind dancer naturally agreed to it. Of course, it was also related to Bai Pu's appearance. If it was an ugly guy, Dongbo Changzi would probably decline the offer. Yu Guang covered his face and walked away. He couldn't bear the humiliation of having his IQ rubbed back and forth by Bai Pu. He could only comfort himself in his heart that Bai Pu would not be able to understand anything in just a few days, even with Dongbo Changzi's guidance. What Yu Guang didn't notice was that Bai Pu's eyes were slightly narrowed when he looked at his back. Hidden was a deep murderous intent. Chapter 100, A Skill of Sincerity, a sword that wards off demons and gods. Bai Mingchun's demon hunting team set out in a mighty manner. All members of the demon hunting team are holders of the Zuan Wu Oath Seal. Yu Guang was also recruited. Obtaining the Zuan Wu Oath Seal means gaining the recognition of the Bai Ming family. This recognition is not free. The Bai Ming family issues the Zuan Wu Oath Seal to meritorious wild warriors and incorporates them into the guardian camp. Then when fighting demons, the wild warriors holding the Zuan Wu Oath Seal must fight side by side with the Bai Ming family. Violators will have their oath seal taken back. This is also the reason why Dongbo Changzi did not issue the Qinglong Oath Seal in Zuanwu Mountain. Issuing the Oath Seal is equivalent to expanding the power of the inherited family. Bai Pu stood on the top of the wooden building, looking at the demon hunting team going away, and sighed slightly. "You don't have to mind. The owner of Bai Mingchun has sent someone to send a letter to Zuanwu Ian, asking the Bai Ming family to deliver a batch of Oath Seals. With your current reputation, you must be the first among all the wild warriors to get the seal." After a pause, Dongbo Changzi shook his head and said, "Actually, I still feel a little sorry. If you go to the East Wilderness Forest, I will definitely give you the Azure Dragon Oath Seal without hesitation." Bai Pu thanked Dongbo Changzi. He could see that this young hero of the Guardian Camp admired him very much. "Okay, come and practice sword with me," Dongbo Changzi said with a smile. "Let me see your level." Bai Pu clenched his sharp long sword. The two-handed swords used by the natives of the Heart Demon world are actually samurai swords with narrow blades and faster speed. Bai Pu's longsword is taken from the two-handed longsword of the Three Kingdoms plane. The blade is wider and the speed is slightly lower, but the attack power is slightly higher. The arcs of the two are similar, and there are many similarities in their use. Bai Pu did not use gene fragments. Fusion of the gene fragments of an elite 100 generals from the Three Kingdoms plane world can temporarily raise one's combat expertise to the level of Advanced 7. In terms of skills, it is definitely not inferior to Dongbo Changzi, but there is no point in doing so. Bai Pu does not have the habit of showing off. He has stored not many elite gene fragments from the Three Kingdoms plane world, and they all have to be used on the blade. In the plane of low-level awakeners, Bai Pu is probably unable to replenish equally excellent gene fragments. He killed a demon leader, and the gene fragments he obtained are not as good as the elite 100 generals from the Three Kingdoms plane world. The reason lies in the world's strength. After all, the strength of 3 kingdoms, Red Cliff is 2.4, while the plain strength of Heart Demon, Oath is only 1.8. Bai Pu, relying on the advanced level 3, Limit Breaker +1, two-handed swordsmanship, must be suppressed in all aspects when practicing swordsmanship with Dongbo Changzi. However, Dongbo Changzi deliberately gave instructions and deliberately suppressed his level, feeding Bai Pu with skills that were only 1 level higher than Bai Pu. Just this ability to control it freely made Bai Pu feel ashamed. Bai Pu also kept receiving reminders from the spirit world. You have received the guidance of the indigenous strong man, Dongbo Changzi, and your proficiency in the two-handed swordsmanship has been improved. Finally, after Bai Pu was knocked to the ground again, his two-handed swordsmanship expertise was upgraded to advanced level 3. The Limit Breaker +1 level, the two-handed swordsmanship expertise has gained +4 special effects. There are a total of 6 special effects this time: dazzling, furious slashing, penetration, cutting, parrying, and wind-seeking. Bai Pu glanced at these 6 special effects, pretended to think about it, and chose the last one, wind-seeking. Wind-seeking, when you use a two-handed sword weapon to attack, it will be accompanied by the wind-seeking effect. When you hit the enemy, you may cut another knife along the trajectory of the wind. Hint. The wind-seeking special effect is an exclusive special effect based on the guidance of the indigenous strong man, Dongbo Changzi. The text of that line of reminder actually explained the strength of this special effect. After Bai Pu made his choice, he felt a sudden enlightenment in his mind. He inexplicably gained a new understanding of the wind. He turned over and got up, holding the long sword in both hands, and gestured in the air. Dongbo Changzi did not disturb Bai Pu, but watched the scene with a smile. It was not until Bai Pu woke up from his state of understanding that Dongbo Changzi smiled and said, "I didn't expect your understanding to be so brilliant, which is very consistent with your appearance." Bai Pu thought for a while and said, "I have a method of jumping to attack the enemy. It emphasizes accumulating the whole body's strength and moving forward. However, after the guidance of Master Dongbo, this move seems to have room for improvement." Dongbo Changzi said, "Why don't you use it and let's see?" Bai Pu immediately launched a jump slash, with his legs slightly bent. With a flash of blood, he jumped high and struck the open space 10 meters away. Dongbo Changzi held his sword and watched, saying disapprovingly, "This move is just the most superficial use of energy, and I can't see any advantages." Of course, how could a mere 1-star ordinary skill catch Dongbo Changzi's eye? Fortunately, Dongbo Changzi is not just a strong-mouthed king. After criticizing the mediocrity of jump slash, he immediately gave a demonstration. By integrating yourself into the flow of wind, you can perform this move more quickly and flexibly. Watch carefully. While speaking, Dongbo Changzi's sword had already been unsheathed, and he raised his hand to draw a trajectory, and the wind gathered around him like a shadow. His figure jumped high. It's better to say that he was riding the wind than to say jumping up. The power of the wind supported his body, and his blue shirt fluttered, which was indescribably chic and elegant. In mid-air, Dongbo Changzi's sword tip gently waved, and the power of the wind suddenly turned. He was like a flexible falcon, suddenly changing the direction of his attack, and accelerated to the side 10 meters away. Second change of direction in the air. Bai Pu was convinced. Dongbo Changzi only took a look at jump slash, and was able to innovate and create such an amazing change of moves. This talent is really amazing and enviable. However, considering that he started practicing swordsmanship since he was a child, and his first toy was a wooden sword, he had already realized the flow of wind at an early age, so it was normal for him to have such a demon-level performance. You have received guidance from the indigenous strong man, Dongbo Changzi, and your understanding of the combat skill, jump slash has deepened. Current understanding progress. 14%. When the understanding progress bar reaches 100%, your combat skill, jump slash will mutate into a brand new skill. Bai Pu took a deep breath and said, "Next, I want to practice this move well." With sincerity, the sword can ward off ghosts and gods. Dongbo Changzi nodded slightly. "Your idea is not bad. Practice it well." After that, the wind dancer left with his hands behind his back and went straight back to the wooden building. Bai Pu stayed in the yard. After he thought about it for 2 minutes, there was a flash of blood under his feet, and he performed jump slash again. Boom! Bai Pu fell to the ground like a weight, without any sense of elegance. It doesn't feel right, try again. After closing his eyes and thinking for 2 minutes, Bai Pu opened his eyes again. Jump slash. Dot. While Bai Pu was practicing jump slash, another day passed. The next day, in the afternoon, a warrior covered in blood stumbled into the beaming dojo in Wangbi City and ran towards the wooden building where Dongbo Changzi was. It's bad. Lord Dongbo, the demon hunting team was ambushed by demons in Hongmankyu. Dongbo Changzi frowned and said, Hongmankyu is the outer area of the Black Swamp. The demons there are just weak human-faced flower demons. With a beaming dojo master here, it should be enough to deal with it. No, it's Guij. After the warrior said the name Guij, he fell to the ground and fainted. Dongbo Changzi stood up suddenly. Thank you all for your timely follow-up. Lao Ya thanks you. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.